what this is right now. This is what we like to call an impromptu podcast, an emergency show.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm. Yeah.
Crystal Storm and I have decided that the Last Jedi needs to be dealt with, essentially. So, so rather than wait for one of our great radio shows to go on the air and do it, we decided we'll just do it now.
Yeah, we need to let it out. I feel like this is going to be cathartic for us to just let it out.
This is
And I don't want to keep doing it on Facebook because I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it yet. And I'm going to end up doing that if I keep talking about it on Facebook. And I genuinely, because like I hate people who spoil. So I don't want somebody to accidentally come to your page and be like, "Oh, fucking Crystal."
yeah, like it's impossible. Like Angel was in like we were all in like in like California guy chat, and we were in his chat talking about it, and he's not planning to see the movie until Saturday,
Hmm.
and California guy and I were talking about the movie because we've both seen the film, and he's in there and he hasn't seen it and he doesn't want to know any spoilers, so he's like, I'm gonna leave this chat. Bye, Felicia's, and
Yeah.
he leaves.
Right. That's
Just
smart.
not,
Because
it's,
you can't talk about this movie
should
without
have. Yeah, you
spoiling.
should
You
not
can't.
be doing that. Don't spoil it for you. I, unlike a lot of people, did not see a lot of the trailers and stuff for this movie.
Okay.
I said no. I saw the first trailer that they did, like the teaser,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that was the only one. I'd never watched another trailer after that. I didn't pay attention to commercials.
Oh
Anything
wow.
that's anything that said Last Jedi, I stayed away from.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
didn't even want to go to the grocery store because I didn't want to see Last Jedi cereal boxes and see anything that might have a spoiler on it. Like there was like a bag of lettuce or something, and it had Ray holding a red lightsaber. So I just I just decided, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and just avoid anything Star Wars altogether
I love it. I love it. You were like, nope, nothing, nothing.
because I was convinced when they got a director like
Mhm.
Ryan Johnson, Rian Johnson,
Mhm.
whatever, that he was going to do a wonderful job after Looper.
Yes, Looper
Not
was
expect,
so good.
there's no reason in the world why we should have been worried about this movie.
No,
I I mean I wasn't worried about it.
I
That's how
wasn't
calm
either.
I
I
was.
wasn't. I was so comfortable with him. Like I wasn't comfortable with Colin Trev, whatever the fuck his name was, that was doing 3. Like I wasn't comfortable with him. And not because I don't think he's a bad director. Like Jurassic Park, the new one, whatever the one that he directed, it wasn't a bad movie, but it wasn't a good movie. Like I didn't think that he was the director for a Star Wars movie. So episode 9, I was genuinely worried about until they announced that he got fired and JJ Abrams is back. So now I'm like, awesome. But I was like you, I was not worried about episode 8. I was just hyped. I was literally just hyped. I was like, Ryan Johnson's gonna come in here. We're gonna get some shit we never seen before. He's gonna take it in a new direction. It's not gonna be Empire Strikes Back, and it's gonna be fucking awesome. And I literally walked out as conflicted as Kylo Ren. like,
I, I kind of I kind of was to the point where I didn't know if they were trying to establish sexual tension between Kylo Ren and Rey or what. But in my mind, all I cared about was getting the hell out of the theater. For real. I
oh
just did not
no.
I was not comfortable with anything. I was sitting there thinking to myself, we've we've been completely conned. We've been it Disney totally, because everybody knows if you're because Star Wars is bigger than movies. Star
Mhm.
Wars is essentially is like it's taken on a
Yeah.
life of its own. It's
Yes.
not just a movie. It's not just a it's a way of life for people, and it's actually
Yeah. It's
Star Wars
serious.
is an entity. It's
Yes.
serious. So when you take that life form, anything that you do in Star Wars is going to be put under a microscope no matter what. This is why,
Right.
George Lucas is no longer involved with his creation because
Right.
there's too
He
much money
lost
at
sight of
stake.
things too. I mean, like, and you can almost see it as well because I was watching a while ago. I was watching the original trilogy, and I paid attention to the after credits to see who actually wrote the episodes, and it's fucking hilarious because they get better the more George Lucas stops writing them. Which is because he's so brilliant that he created this world, right? So we've got to give him props because this would never have happened without him, right? But the more he kind of stepped back and let people like work inside of his universe, the better Star Wars got. Like that's literally which is amazing because I think Rian Johnson had this problem too where he had this, it's almost like he had this tunnel vision. He did with Star Wars what JJ Abrams used to do with the fucking lens flares, like too much, like he didn't know when to stop. And finally JJ Abrams actually had a friend tell him when to not use lens flares. I don't know if you know that, but he had that for The Force Awakens. Like he literally had someone watch the movie and be like, you have to tell me if I'm using too many lens flares. Like I so appreciate that about creators, but The Last Jedi feels like Rian Johnson was like, fuck you, this is new, we're going to do it this way, and I'm fine with that. I am totally fine with that. But the way he told this story was lazy, and you made one of the most beloved characters unlikable, and you didn't tell us why. You did not take us on Luke's journey from Return of the Jedi to the Luke we see here, and I can buy so much of Luke. Like, I can buy that he's like this curmudgeon, that because of what happened with Kylo Ren, it broke him. Because let's be real, the Skywalkers are a bunch of emo motherfuckers. Like, they turned
Luke Skywalker into a Shakespearean caricature.
Oh,
I mean, I was thinking, you know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about that scene, that scene in Hamlet where the king is pouring the poison on his brother's ear. That's the look that Luke Skywalker had on his face when he was in Kylo's room. That look of
was
pure
crazy.
insanity. Like just insane. Like they turned Luke into a lunatic. I mean,
I don't understand. Like, okay, so there are so many things about this character I can buy. Like, I can buy he started reading his own fan mail. Okay, I can buy that. Like, okay, these are the Skywalkers, right? Like, let's like Anakin, super emo. Even Luke, when we first saw him, he was super emo, and they matured. Like, they slowly grew up, right? Like, we watched them grow up and mature and become who they were supposed to be, okay? But it's like human nature that when you fuck up, you kind of fall back on bad tendencies, right? So I can buy this. I can buy that he's like, he doesn't want to be a part of the Force anymore. He's ashamed that he couldn't properly train his nephew or whatever. But what the fuck did Luke Skywalker see in Kylo Ren that was so bad that the guy who beat Darth Vader had a moment where he is going to kill his nephew? Because we keep getting told that Kylo Ren is like, he's so strong with the Force and he's so dark side, but I don't see it. Kylo Ren to me is still he's like a child who has Force powers. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's literally a rebellious teenager.
You could see the sadness. You could see the sadness in him every time he talked about Han Solo. The guy does not want to be there.
He's conflicted. So how is it that Rey saw that he was conflicted, but Luke fucking Skywalker didn't? Like, what?
Exactly. Luke doesn't know. Luke didn't even know that Han was dead. Luke is like,
oh, fuck. I mean, I could. Okay, so he cut himself, but that you can't turn Luke into this character and not take us on that journey. That entire casino scene we could have done without, and you could have focused on what happened with Luke and Kylo Ren, because that was the most important piece of this story, and you didn't give it to us, and I don't understand how you didn't recognize that. I don't understand why he just expected us to buy this version of Luke Skywalker that is so fucking different than the Luke Skywalker that we ever saw, but you didn't take us on his journey. You didn't take us on, and that is your job as the storyteller to take, if this is the end of the Skywalker saga, which I am totally fine with, that's cool. Let's end it. Everybody can, like, I like what he said about the Force. I like his viewpoints on the Jedi. He's not wrong. I like that that's kind of how he's grown. I'm not mad about that. But you didn't take us to how Luke is a douche in this movie. Like, he is literally a fucking douche. Like, this is the guy who literally just said, fuck my sister, fuck my friends, I don't give a fuck, I'm going to stay on this island and let the fucking world burn, and it's my fault.
He even said that he came to that island to die. He told Rey that.
Oh, so, like, what? How did we get this Luke? How did we This is the guy who stopped training with Yoda on Dagobah to go save his friends when he wasn't ready. How did he Why? I can buy this if you would just tell the story, and that's what Rian Johnson didn't do. He did not tell the most important fucking character story, and it's blowing my mind. It is like I don't understand that.
It's like if he would have told that story, you could almost forgive everything else in the
Absolutely,
movie.
because every Star Wars movie has
at least
plot
you could
holes.
say
Every
because
fucking
at least
one.
you could say, okay, yeah. But no, by not telling that story, you've totally alienated everybody. You've destroyed the Skywalker saga, and now you're gonna have to face the backlash. For real. It's just crazy.
It's just, and that, like there was like Luke's battle meditation. I've read that before in Star Wars lore, so I wasn't mad about his force powers. The shit with Leia was like a little cheesy, but Leia's a badass jet. Like, we forget how badass Leia is, okay? So I'm not mad that she did that shit.
In this continuity, though, they've never established. Remember, they threw away all of that.
Right, but they're picking and choosing now what they want to pull out of the EU. They really are.
But again, it's another example of how it just wasn't developed enough. It's never been established that Leia could even really use her force powers like that. She has no training. If she could, but then again, Rey really had no training at all anyway either, and she could do everything. So,
but none of them have. Like, you think about that too, because that's almost, and we've always forgiven that in stories. Like, literally think about it. Think about the first time Luke Skywalker picked up a lightsaber. Have you ever seen anybody actually get lightsaber trained? Like, actually get trained in how to use a lightsaber. We've seen him get trained in the Force. The first time Obi-Wan taught him, he put the fucking lightsaber in his hand, gave him that little zappy ball thing, and now all of a sudden Luke is like, pew, pew. Like, really? That was like fucking, like 20 minutes into, like, really? Like, you just picked it up? So I can buy that. I can buy that there's always been this chosen one that has amazing force powers, and we have to accept that. Fine. I can buy it. That's Star Wars. Whatever. Fine. I can't, all this other shit, though? No, it's too much. It's too much. You stop.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff that they expected us to believe, and the way that they set things up. I don't understand how JJ Abrams was happy with any of this.
I don't either.
Because he set up.
You shit on everything in The Force Awakens, like literally everything. It's like Rian Johnson was so fucking determined to make his own movie, he forgot to make a good one.
And he forgot that there was a movie that came before his.
Yeah, like he just didn't care.
Here, you have to answer for some of these. I mean, when they basically made like some of the biggest mysteries of The Force Awakens into complete throwaway material, you're just like,
right. And you know what the thing was too, Zod? He didn't give us anything new. Like, okay, so if you're going to say, Snoke doesn't matter, okay, fine. Fine. Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren don't matter. Okay, fine. Rey's parents don't matter. Okay, fine. Is there a story in here that you would like to tell then? Is there a mystery you would like to give us? Is there any reason I should be excited about Episode 9? Or were you literally just involved in, like, setting fire to Jedi lore? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's all he did. Like, he's like the Joker of this trilogy. He just
he trolled us. I feel like he trolled us.
He just and that's it. It's over. He doesn't care. The way everything that he did, almost everything that he did in this movie is divisive, whether people liked it or not.
Yeah, it really is. I don't. There's so much that I want. Like, when Rey and Luke fought, love that shit. When Rey was like, no, I see this in Kylo Ren, I've got to go. That was so reminiscent of what Luke told to Yoda. Like, I so liked that. So there were so many interesting moments in this, like when I can even buy what happened with Kylo Ren and Snoke. Because those types of characters are so into their fucking own, like, arrogance that I totally believe that Snoke was so into how he is and how awesome that he is that it didn't even cross his mind that his apprentice might turn on him. So I buy that. Because clearly he didn't read the rule of two. Clearly he don't know shit about Darth Bane, but that's okay, whatever.
Here's the thing about Snoke, though. I mean, I felt like that whole scene with Rey, Kylo, and Snoke was like a like a really bad Return of the Jedi cosplay. That's
Oh
what it
no!
because even the Snoke, even some of the lines that Snoke gave were verbatim lines that the Emperor had said to Luke in Return of the Jedi. If you go back and you watch Return of the Jedi, the line, I mean, like it was so like such a blatant ripoff of Return of the Jedi to the point where he even started, it wasn't like he wasn't force lightning Kylo, but he was,
He did
but he
once.
was,
No, he did force lightning Kylo.
he was force lightning Kylo, just like the Emperor then. And,
Yeah, yeah.
and it didn't surprise me when
No.
it really didn't surprise me when Kylo did what he did but Kylo did it for a different reason.
Yes,
Kylo did it because he still wants to dominate the universe, and he
of
still
course.
wants but he wants Rey to join him because Rey is more powerful with the Force than he is.
I think they're equal in that. And I think that's kind of what Snoke was trying to get at, and I think that's the way Ryan Johnson was trying to explain like the mystery of like why Rey is so powerful. Like all you fanboys need to calm down with your Mary Sue shit, but whatever, it's cool. But he was saying that because Kylo Ren is so quote unquote strong with the Force, then the light has to have balance. So there had to be somebody to oppose him, and so it just randomly chose Rey. Alright, I could buy that. There's always been a fucking chosen one. Like whatever. But that's something to explore. Like let's talk more about that shit. Yeah, let's talk about the Knights of Ren. Where the fuck did they go? Like, let's talk about that. Where the fuck is the rest of the galaxy? Where did it go?
Yeah,
Where did it go?
it all took place in this tunnel vision view. See, it was almost as if he was trying, like Ryan Johnson wanted to tell a story that was contained, and he wanted to cut off the rest of the universe, but it was like goes back to the point that you made about how he really didn't tell a story. Like
He
he just
didn't.
that's
He
what I don't understand.
really
Like the rest of
didn't.
the universe doesn't matter. Okay, we're supposed to focus on what you're showing us here, but you're not really showing us anything.
Exactly.
You're
That is
just,
literally exactly it.
he's like he wrote this like he was like a little kid playing in a sandbox,
Yeah,
and I think he got overwhelmed.
I
He
do
got
too.
he got so much sand in his eyes that he can't see the sandcastle anymore.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what too? Because all
He
right,
needs
so
an actor.
he needed to listen, and that's what drives me crazy about some of these like directors. Like they get so involved in like their own like egos. Really, is really what it is. You get that you don't listen to the people around you. Like I was recently just watching some stuff about Mark Hamill and how he said that he thought things should go, and listening to him talk, I'm like, why did nobody listen to him? Why did nobody listen to Mark? Like even with The Force Awakens, like he said that when he read that script, that he thought that when Han Solo died, it shouldn't have been Rey and Finn standing there looking at it. It should have been Luke and Leia. And I can't disagree with him because he had a really strong point. He was like, those are the characters that would have been most impacted by Han's death, not the two people who have known him for like 20 fucking minutes. I can't be mad
Right.
about his thoughts right there. Like he's not wrong. Like that should have been cool. Even when he said too at the end where the lightsaber goes flying when Rey pulls it, he's like he thought his character was the one that did it.
He
And
didn't
when
have
he
to
said
speak, but he should have caught that lightsaber.
right.
Luke
And
should
as
have
soon
been
as he said that, I was like, damn, that would have been even better. Like that would have been some pimp ass shit. And then in episode 2, in episode 8, you really go into, okay, we're letting go. Let's tell the story of Luke. Let's talk about where he's been, and let's close him out the right way. So I get that we have to make room for these new characters, and I'm fine with that. But you can't send them off like this. This is so bad. This is so disrespectful. It's so like I love that Yoda set that tree on fire, even though he looked so bad. I don't understand why Yoda looked the way he did.
Oh yeah, that CGI was like Justice
I don't
League bad CGI.
right. Like I don't know. I didn't even see the Justice, but that bothered me so fucking much. But I love that Yoda was trolling Luke because that's Yoda. It was so like back to fucking Empire Strikes Back, and when he's training, like that was so like Yoda and Luke's relationship, where Yoda's like, whatever, I'll just set the fucking tree on fire. It don't matter. Like what the fuck? Like cool. there were so many beats where I was like, yes, this is awesome, but then they do stupid shit to ruin it, like the way Yoda looked. Ruin that scene for me. Like, are you kidding me? All this fucking money to all these big ass sets and you can't make fucking Yoda look correct? Are you for real right now?
Yoda should have they should have just did the same thing they did with him in Empire Strikes Back. They should have made him look, they should have brought back the fucking puppet.
I don't understand why they didn't. Do y'all not have the fucking puppet anymore? Does George Lucas, like nobody could have went and got the fucking puppet?
he had to be CGI. You could tell he was a cartoon when you looked at him.
Why did he have to be? Like, doesn't make any sense. Oh my God, JJ Abrams had so many character creatures created for The Force Awakens. Shout out to JJ for like making that, it was like the way it was supposed to be. One of the most important characters in the Star Wars saga, and you can't make him look right. Really?
Yeah, you're gonna have him have that big cameo where he actually, I mean, and honestly, that still didn't, that none of that really could take away though from Luke Skywalker's douchebaggery. I
hated Luke Skywalker too, and that's literally, and I realized I woke up the next morning and I'm like, this is my problem. I don't like Luke Skywalker. Like, he's literally a dick. Like, you are a dick. You didn't, like, what? I liked the scenes when he was trolling Rey, like, even though I thought it was stupid that she actually reached out, but when he trolled her, like, that was funny as fuck. I'm like, he's totally channeling his inner Yoda. Like, this is amazing. Like, this is awesome. Like, so there were so many moments that I thought were funny, but you could have literally, like, that shit with Chewie and the Porgs, while it was funny, you only have a limited amount of time. You need to cut that out and tell Luke's story. That whole shit with Finn and Rose, okay? I don't dislike Rose. I do not dislike her. I like that she's a part of the Star Wars universe. But if you're going to take me on this subplot that I didn't care about, and only to find out at the end that the subplot was fucking useless and didn't do anything anyway because there was this stupid-ass convoluted plan, what? You took 30, that's 30 minutes. That's 30 minutes we could have been with Luke and the Knights of Ren, and you could have been taking me on Luke's story as to why he's a fucking douche so I can actually understand him. Like, we can understand Darth Vader. We can understand Kylo Ren. We can understand, we understand these characters. I don't understand Luke Skywalker. I have no, I can... If you'd have told the story, I could have understood Luke Skywalker. But this Luke Skywalker,
I read that Mark Hamill made up his own backstory for Luke Skywalker, in that he said that that the backstory that he had was that Luke was married and his wife was killed.
Oh wow!
And that's why he's as bitter and like.
There had some reason that you dissed
he
all
has
your
pure
friends
bitter,
for
like
this.
you don't know. I mean, I'm looking at watching the cut scenes for Battlefront 2 to try to see if that's going to give me some insight, and I'm like, no, because the Luke Skywalker in Battlefront 2 is the Luke Skywalker post Return of the Jedi, but he's still the Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi.
Right. Hang on just a second, Todd. I gotta let the dog out. Give me 1 sec.
Oh, okay. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So what I'm saying is, Luke hasn't become the
curmudgeon
the old that he became in the movie, in this movie, that he is in this movie. He's still the Luke from Return of the Jedi, and ultimately that's another big gripe I have with both of these movies, the Force Awakens and Last Jedi. None of the stuff is going on makes any sense. The rebels should not be the rebels anymore. The rebels should be the ones in power now.
Okay, here's the cool shit now. And again, there are so many this movie shouldn't have explained this, but if you read the book Bloodlines, I don't know if you have, but if you read that book, it takes place before The Force Awakens. And it sets up the world beautifully. Anybody who is a fan of Leia needs to read this book because she is fucking badass in it. but it talks about how very slowly, like, again, the First Order, like, infested the Galactic Council. And so that whole book is literally about Leia trying to figure out what's going on. And at the end of it, she actually gets outed from Parliament because they find out that she's, like, fucking Vader's daughter, and some shit goes down, like, some political awesomeness goes down, and it sets up the First Order so well. So you understand how they are coming to be at the end of Bloodlines, but not to the overpowered point they are in the movies. Like, there's a big fucking gap. Like, you're right, the Republic is still in charge, and just because in fucking The Force Awakens they blew up a planet, like, all of a sudden everybody's gone? Like, it happened that fast? Like,
Right.
What?
Like, where do they get these? Where do they get these weapons from?
Well,
Like,
you know, the
they're-
rich
like,
people
they're
on that
this
casino planet.
Yeah.
Fuck me,
So,
really?
they're this huge conglomerate where they somehow managed to wipe out the whole, the whole New Republic is gone now because
In one
because
planet.
of the first.
I guess maybe it was 3. I'm trying to remember. Like, didn't that fucking Starkiller thing blow up like a couple planets, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
apparently, I mean, okay. Okay, like, oh shit, that's it. Like, okay. You will enjoy the book Bloodlines more than you would have enjoyed these 2 movies. I'm telling you, it's so good.
I'll
God.
definitely have to read Bloodlines. I'm to the point where I just don't understand how it got like this.
I don't either.
I feel like we needed to see a movie with the Republic in power. That's what we needed to see. And then if they wanted to do that, it'd show the corruption, and they wanted to show the First Order coming to power.
Right,
Why didn't they do that in the film? Why wasn't that forced?
Hi, Ryan. Guess what you could have done instead of, what you did do? Shit.
And the thing was, he showed us flashbacks. He showed us crazy Shakespearean flashbacks.
But
So
those
why
flashbacks were such bullshit. It wasn't enough.
Right.
That's gonna drive me crazy forever. Like, I need to know what fucking Luke Skywalker saw in Kylo Ren that was so bad. He keeps telling us. He told us that I saw the darkness in him, and it was so dark. It was so dark. And then I look at Kylo Ren, and I'm like, really?
I was a kid laying in bed trying to sleep, wondering why his crazy uncle wants to kill him.
Yeah.
That's all we saw. Like you see him, like he looked innocent as hell.
He did,
Like,
and Luke looked fucking cray in those scenes.
So,
Like,
I mean,
you might as well as turn Luke to the dark side. Like, if you'd have told me, like, some shit had happened and Luke had gone to the dark side, then I'd have bought that more than the shit. Like, at least then I would have understood him. I don't even have dark side Luke. I just have douchebag Luke.
Right.
Like, shit.
Like, at least there we could understand. Okay, he's turned to the dark side.
Right,
he wants
he's now
to kill
his
his
father. Right, like, whatever. Like, okay, that I would fucking get. Like, this Luke, I'm like, you're literally just a dick. You owe your sister, like, you don't, the amount of apology that you owe your sister cannot be contained. Like, you tried to kill her fucking son. You were the final straw that pushed him over to the fucking dark side, and then you just dipped.
And you're a complete and Luke Skywalker is a complete failure. The most optimistic character in the history of the franchise it has been reduced to a douchebag with no feelings whatsoever for his family.
Right. And then his redeeming moment was to let the 400 rebels sneak out of the secret passage in the cave. That's the redeeming moment you give him before you kill him. Are you for real right now?
Yeah, that's redemption right there.
Fuck out of here.
Let's not forget we got to make that scene funny too.
Oh,
we got
God. One second. I gotta let the dog back inside. 1 second. He can't just go outside and be a dog. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
What happened?
I let him outside to pee, and then he's outside for like 5 minutes. He's like, anxiety. I'm in this big yard by myself. I must come back inside.
Anxiety. Wow.
Oh, he's old. I can't be mad. He's 16.
Well, I don't know. That was what I was feeling during the film.
I
all by myself.
Oh my God! You know what? It felt confused. The Last Jedi is confused. It doesn't know what movie it wants to be. It doesn't know. I feel like shit.
It was a big exercise in like sensory deprivation.
Yeah.
They're like, well,
It's a
what is
big
happening
exercise
right
in
now?
what not to fucking do to the most beloved characters in the fucking Star Wars universe. That would, I mean, at least Han had the only decent send off. How sad is that?
Oh,
How
that was
fucking sad.
beautiful.
What are you going to do with Leia now? How? I mean, she's not in Episode 9. So what? Am I gonna just get a crawl that she's dead? Is that's how you're gonna fucking send off Leia Skywalker? Are you?
That's what's gonna be. That's what's gonna be the opening. The opening word in the crawl is gonna be Leia Organa. Leia Organa is dead.
Yeah.
The New Republic is attempting to da 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 da. I mean, it's just gonna be. That's really the only thing that they could do because
right, because they're not gonna. They've already said they're not gonna CGI her. I feel bad for fucking JJ Abrams. I feel really bad for him because all these critics that are raving about this movie are fucking like paid by Disney, and I even hate that word came out of my mouth because I hate it when people say that. But no. Like,
they're not Star Wars fans. You can tell that by the discrepancy between the audience and the critics.
Yeah.
Critics are fans. Critics are movie critics. They're not Star Wars fans.
It's
so
true.
Of course they like this movie because it pisses all over all over everything that the mythology established. It's just pretty crazy.
Like there's just so, and that drives me because there's just so much I can buy. Like I feel like Rian Johnson like had a really good idea and then lost it. It's like he got high and he was like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and then when it was time to actually write this,
Kathleen Kennedy's ass, and she said, okay, that's great, go ahead, make the movie you want to make, do whatever you want to do. This is wonderful.
I don't know why they liked this. This is what's driving me. Rogue One was a good movie. Like, it had its flaws, like every fucking Star Wars movie, but you got that right. You got The Force Awakens right. How did you fuck this up?
Right. She didn't take any shit with Rogue One. They went in, did reshoots and everything with Rogue One. She wasn't going to tolerate any
This
BS.
This is why I was like so excited about this movie. Like, you were so mad about what Colin did. You fired his ass. No fucks given. I'm like, okay, Kathleen Kennedy, don't play. We're never going to get a bad Star Wars movie. Well, fuck.
Hello.
Wow.
This Luke Skywalker handling alone should have been enough to get Rian Johnson fired. I'm sorry. The direction of his character should have been enough to say, you know what? No, you don't understand what we need to do here. We're not going to make Luke Skywalker into a douchebag. That's not realistic.
You've just got to give me a reason. Like if you had just shown me, like, what was it? Like, it has to make sense if you're going to do this to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much I could have bought. Like, I could have bought this version of Luke that is so fucking up his own ass that he has exiled himself because he feels so bad about what he did. I buy that. I buy that he was so scared of what he saw in Kylo Ren. He made a mistake. Kylo Ren caught him, and I buy all of that. But if you're going to tell me this, then you have to show it to me, because I'm not seeing it in Kylo Ren. He's not the scary Sith. He's just not. You keep telling me like he's so dark and this, that, and the other. And even when he takes over and he's got his moment to be like the badass, I'm still seeing a child throwing a temper tantrum. Like, I'm not seeing this uber villain that Luke was so afraid of. So if you're not going to show me this story, nothing else about Luke makes any sense.
And it's not like Adam Driver couldn't pull it off.
Exactly.
I mean, Adam Driver could be that villain, but they're not making him that villain. Instead, they're making him so conflicted. I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if you've ever heard these, Crystal, but if you get a chance, you should listen to them. There's this guy. His name is Ian Dusher. And he made a series of books called William Shakespeare's Star Wars, where he took all, like, the original Star Wars trilogy, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, and did the movies in the form of how Shakespeare would have done it. And basically he did that and he just did it for The Force Awakens as well. And they released them. They're on Audible. They released them on audio, and they got actors to come in and play the roles and
that sounds awesome.
Music and everything. These versions of these versions of the movies are just as good, if not better, than the movies themselves.
Oh, wow.
And the way that they handle the stuff in Force Awakens with Kylo Ren. Like you and me, we keep talking about the conflict within Kylo Ren. The
Hmm.
way that it's handled in the Shakespearean version of Force Awakens is unbelievable. Like
Wow.
like the whole scene with the whole Han Solo death scene is
Hmm.
portrayed in such a beautiful, powerful way that
Wow.
it's unbelievable. And Chewbacca, when Chewbacca witnesses, remember when Chewbacca goes ape and and just starts killing everybody after Han Solo
As
died?
he should have, which was awesome. Yup, yup.
The scene, how they handled it in the Shakespeare, they had it speaking Wookiee, and then they actually did like a Shakespearean sonnet of how Chewbacca was feeling.
Oh, wow.
It was the most gut wrenching like thing you could ever hear. I'm like, oh my god, this is incredible. This is exactly what
Wow.
I'm talking about. What I mean to say is that like the emotions and the power and all of the things that you experienced from Star Wars is like heightened and accentuated through these versions of the story. And
Yeah.
but with this movie,
No.
with this new movie, I don't see anything in this movie that can be interpreted as powerful or as like I
There
don't
were moments I felt like that got ruined, and that's literally like that is what is so utterly frustrating about this movie, is that there are so many moments that are by them, like if you just isolate them and that's just that moment, that this is awesome, this is powerful, like this is good, and but then you like combine it with everything else and you're just like, you ruined it. Like all, you kill every
I
powerful
didn't feel
moment for.
nothing. I didn't feel nothing when Luke Skywalker died. I really didn't.
I didn't. You
No,
killed Admiral Akbar. You
yeah,
fucking I didn't even realize it until a few moments later when they. And then I'm like, wait, oh my fucking Jesus, Admiral, you killed Akbar. You like it was nothing. Like it was fucking nothing. You just, there wasn't even like, nobody even had a funeral. There wasn't even like a send off for him.
I
He's
thought it
just
was,
gone.
and I thought Leia was dead too. I thought when she flew out, I thought that's it. She's gone too. And I'm like, and for a while, that's the thing about it, Crystal. For a while, I was okay with it. I'm
I
like,
would,
okay, Tom
yeah.
decided to
I
kill
kept waiting
Leia.
for it. I kept waiting for them to send her off. In like, even when that scene, like in the last scene where they're in the thing and Luke's about to go face Kylo Ren, like I thought she was gonna go with him. Like I thought she was going to be the reason that they escaped, because she went to go see her son and he finally takes the last step over to the dark side.
That's the
Like
scene.
something like that, Like, but
Why
now
have a
what I'm
scene
gonna get,
together?
like
Other
opening
son.
crawl, like how you're being so disrespectful to the legacy, and you don't have to be. Like nobody's mad about the Skywalker saga ending. Like everybody would be so okay with that if you would just send off these beloved characters in the right fucking way.
These characters are all alive. We could have had several scenes between Luke, Leia, and Han, and they ruined all of that. There's no
All of it.
chance of any of
Oh,
that now.
fuck.
I just I can't-
Like
why,
why you do this?
and why didn't Leia go down there and have a scene with her son? Why wasn't that a
Yeah.
scene?
Why
Like
wasn't that a scene?
that's another thing that didn't make any sense.
Like that's you. Yeah, I mean, she
Is that
just.
to the light?
See, everybody has given up on Kylo. That shit. Like Rey is literally the only person that sees the light in him. Like she didn't. Like Luke comes to her and say that he's gone, he can't be saved, and she's like okay with that. I buy that. Like at this point, you might be able to feel that he's so dark side that he can't. That's your son. You're not even gonna go like, even Luke faced his father. Like you're not even gonna go out there and like like, and I get that Carrie Fisher wasn't dead then. So I guess they expected her to be in 9.
90% of the movie, so you.
But this bitch literally just fucking force pulled herself into the, which I'm not, a little cheesy, but I'm fine with, like, okay, fine. If we've established that Leia is this badass force user, we know this, like all of us who have been in the EU and know Star Wars know this about Leia. So I'm not surprised about it. Like, I'm okay. She's doing it, but like, can we see some more of this force power shit? Like, why was Rey the one to move the rocks? Why didn't Leia do it? Like, why push Han right the fuck out the way and have been like, or push fucking, Poe right out the, like, I got this. You know?
Why, yeah, why we didn't get any of that? That's the thing. These are all things that could have been done and could have made these characters look so much better. Like you,
Give them the
all it
proper
looks like
send
now
off.
is they're just trying to systematically erase any people, any original characters. They just want. I'm actually surprised that they didn't blow away the robots too. I'm surprised Rian Johnson didn't have
Yeah, right. It's fun.
R2D2. It didn't have R2D2 and C3PO blown out of an airlock. And
Yeah,
you know
I mean,
what?
shit. I
I
mean, you're
know
shitting on everything else. Like, I don't.
story. This
I
is
just
my
don't understand how
story.
you get this wrong.
You sent for episode 9. What you do is you send Chewbacca back home to Kashyyyk, and you do the movie, and you have the movie be all in Wookiee with no subtitles. you you just have it all about Chewbacca dealing with post-traumatic stress syndrome.
That's it.
That's what you have the movie be about. Because for real, there's nothing
is-
left. Everybody's gone. So now what do
Right.
you do?
And we've got fucking emo fucking Kylo Ren and fucking not scary Hux and the overpowered First Order and no Republic again. Like,
And Ren-
you know, for all of this pandering about get over it, it's a new story, it's a new story, you're still keeping the same beats. It's still light versus dark. It's still Empire versus fucking the Resistance. The only problem is this time you're doing it really fucking badly.
And you're getting rid of everybody that matters.
Right,
That's the thing.
which is fine. But if you're going to build up these new characters, build them up. You have this. I mean, and it's almost like there should have been 6 movies. The first 3 needed to be dedicated to properly sending off the Skywalkers, and then the next 3 movies can be all about Rey, Poe, and Finn. I like these characters. I love Rey. I love Finn. I love Poe. I don't dislike the new people. But I'm so pissed off about the way you've killed off Luke Skywalker and the way you're going to send off Leia that it's making me really, it's hard now for me to be excited about Rey, Finn, and Poe. Because now
right,
when I watch
right.
episode 9, I'm just going to be pissed off that you didn't give Leia a proper send-off. That you didn't give Luke a proper send-off. So now I'm going into this movie pissed, and I don't, I'm like, and you didn't have to do
That's
this.
unnecessary.
Exact. That's what's driving me fucking crazy.
Like when you had Han, Leia, and Luke all alive and in reasonable health to do these movies, there's no reason in the world why they should not have been together and been given
Right.
a proper ending. I mean, if we could
Yeah.
sit here as Star Wars fans and make up better ways that they could have handled this situation
Right.
without changing anything, then what's their excuse? For real?
The EU is better than the shit that I've just watched. The EU
Yeah,
is better.
it is.
Like, steal
It
some
is.
shit. You're Disney. Fuck it. Steal it. You put Thrawn in Rebels. Fuck it. You couldn't have pulled some beats out of the EU to use in this movie?
They made Princess Leia into Supergirl for this movie. So if they're going to do that, then why didn't they take more stuff then? It's
Right.
fine.
Right, it's fine. Like, it's
They're
fine.
cherry picking. That's what they're doing. Okay,
Again, nobody, but like, see, okay, so like for the opening scene, like, I'm not mad that Rian Johnson wanted this movie to be like a little funny, okay? Like that scene where fucking Rey cuts the rock off with the lightsaber and then it hits that fucking cart for those. That shit was funny. Like, that's cool. That's some
I
funny
felt
shit.
bad for those people. I'm
I
like,
know, I feel bad for them too.
you know what?
I'm
I'm like, they just went grocery shopping. What the fuck did you do?
Like, right? When she fucking like saw Kylo Ren and she shot through the wall and they've got to fucking clean it up. That shit was funny. Okay, so there was some funny moments like the ironing board. I don't understand what you were doing there. That was whatever. I know why you call Spaceballs. That was a Spaceballs moment. You didn't need that. Okay, and even at the beginning, the opening sequence was awesome when you had that fight. Okay, the way they, like, I was so excited. I was like, yeah, Star Wars movie, we open in space like we're supposed to. I get to see the big ship like I'm supposed to. I'm like, yes, I'm so excited. And then I was immediately let down, not because Poe Dameron was trolling Hux, but because the way you spent in the first 5 minutes of the movie, you took away his scariness. He is no longer the scary character.
He's a caricature.
Right.
He
literally got trolled.
He was like they made him. He was almost a Nazi in the first
Right.
movie. Like he was a
like,
Nazi
scary.
when he delivered that speech.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, that was like, fuck.
about the First Order, and then they ruined. That's why I say they
Ruined
either
him.
ruined or killed all these important characters.
Yes!
In the movie.
Like the way Kylo Ren responded to Poe trolling him was perfect. Like it was like he was like whatever. The way Hux responded was over the top. It was like Rian Johnson wanted to make fun of him. Okay, that's fine. But then he can't be the scary first in command guy that's supposed to be that gives that dark side conflict with Kylo Ren anymore because he's not. Now he's just a little
Governor
bitch.
Tarkin. Now we don't get nothing.
Right.
Like now we have just a guy that's just over bloated and can't be taken serious. And did you notice how almost every single Imperial officer they had on the screen, every single one of them seemed like they were overacting. All of them. Like there was no, like you had
The
had
First
Hux
Order isn't scary. Yeah, they're not.
yelling and act. Then you had another guy on there going "Arr, arr, arr, arr," barking, and it's like,
Right.
dude, calm down. You're gonna give yourself a heart attack. Like it's not.
Like all of the moments that they tried to emulate from the original Star Wars, they fucked up on. And then everything that we were okay with you changing, the important stuff, you also fucked up on. So you basically just fucked up. You couldn't, it's like they just couldn't decide. And I want to like this movie more, like I really do. Like nobody, you can forgive so many things in Star Wars movies, like watch the trilogy. There's always been plot holes. You don't care, it's Star Wars. The same way with The Force Awakens, okay? A little bit like A New Hope, and you just got a bigger Death Star. That's so fucking Star Wars. That's so fucking Star Wars.
We'll make it bigger this time.
Right, whatever. It's
right.
You don't care. You don't care because it's Star Wars.
So now they're gonna get. So now what they're gonna do? They're gonna get Billy D. Williams out of the nursing home, put him in the wheelchair, and say, "Okay, Lando, you're the star, Episode 9."
He should say no. They'll fuck his character.
You're the
too.
one. You're the one you're the one we're gonna kill off in Episode 9. We're gonna kill you in an unconventional way too. What we're gonna do for you is we're gonna have you get stuck in a refrigerator. And
I don't know how JJ Abrams fixes this. I genuinely, I don't. Yeah, I feel like you can't. I feel like you genuinely can't because you don't get another chance at this. Like you had an opportunity to give a. That's my biggest problem with the movie. It's Luke. It's how they handled Luke Skywalker. I can literally forgive every other fucking misstep in this movie if you had have just treated Luke Skywalker correctly.
With respect.
Yeah,
the most
every
important
single
character
one.
of
Single one.
The most important character of this saga,
Mm-hmm.
you should have treated with more respect. And honestly, I can't see how after Carrie Fisher died that they didn't have reshoots to where they kept Luke alive. Why would you kill Luke Skywalker off at the end of this movie if you're not going to have any original trilogy characters left for the final film? Doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
Carrie Fisher's gone, so now what do? Now you have none of them. You have nobody. So now what? Luke is going to be back in the movie, and he's going to be in Episode 9 as a Force ghost?
See, I get what they're doing because we're supposed to care now about Ray, Finn, and Poe.
Right, they think that they've done it with them.
That's what they think, and that's the problem, that they haven't. They're wrong. They really are wrong. Because you fucked up, they haven't. Because you have fucked up 8 so badly, nobody, and that also makes me really, really angry because these are 3 really great actors and actresses, and they're really good characters, and they deserve what you were trying to do. But because you did not send off the most beloved character in the Star Wars universe off correctly, nobody is going to care.
Yeah, right.
And that is fucked up.
And
Because
we
finally get this badass female
now.
Jedi, and because you fucked up Luke, I don't even care about Episode 9 right now. I'm like, I don't even know how you fix this. I don't even know how I'm not going to go to that movie and be mad.
Because unless you completely retcon, I wouldn't even be sad if the opening scene in Episode 9.
It's like a dream, and like Luke wakes up and he's like, "Oh shit, that was fucked up."
Like a Force dream. Like you make the whole movie like a Force dream.
I'd be so okay with that. Nobody would care.
Like what the hell was that?
Like oh shit, I gotta go get Ray. Right? That'd be awesome. Yes. Oh my god, redo. Can we do a redo?
Kylo and you could have Kylo and Ray. You could have Kylo and Ray in bed together in the opening scene, and then just have.
Why would you do that? No, stop it.
They had Force sex. You know how they were Force Skyping each other.
You know what? I wasn't. And see, that's another part that I kind of like because when they were doing that, I'm like, are they gonna go the brother sister route? Is that why they're connected? Like, is that what we're gonna find out about Rey's parents? And then I thought it was cool when Snoke was like, nah, that was me, haha, lol. Like a moment in the movie I liked. There were so many that I liked.
With them, like I look at the two of them and I'm like, no, they're not brother and sister. Those two, they straight up wanna fuck. That's what we're getting right now. Those two are like,
no, no. I threw up in my mouth. It's nasty. No, stop.
Energy between them is it just they can't it's like hello. They have this whole movie was like a nightmare drummed up from the two of them having bad force sex. That's what it was.
I would be okay with that if that's how JJ. I mean, because why? I mean, Ryan Johnson said, "Fuck your movie, JJ. I don't give a fuck." I feel like JJ would be like, "Well, fuck your movie. I don't give a fuck."
Like that?
I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad about it.
Like episode 8 didn't happen. They could do 9 like 8 didn't happen. They could end.
Please. Please, God, please. Like like I want to write a really strongly worded letter right now. Like, please. Like, by the way, Disney, stop it. Stop. Okay, so that end scene with like fucking Finn and fucking Rose, she literally fell in love with him in a Disney princess second. Are you for real? Ryan Johnson became George Lucas in that moment for love scenes. I was like, oh my, hey, guys, fucking Ryan Johnson is George Lucas. George Lucas secretly directed this movie. It wasn't even Ryan Johnson. It was George Lucas the whole time.
Oh no, no, because I don't think George Lucas would have did that to Luke Skywalker.
No, you're right. He wouldn't have.
But
he definitely wrote that cheesy ass love scene at the end. Like, why was that even necessary? She literally knew him for 10 seconds, and all of a sudden you're in love. Now I gotta deal with a fucking love triangle in episode 9. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think I can't believe. Yeah, and actually, I was surprised that Ryan Johnson didn't kill Finn because that looked like that was what was going to happen.
I mean, never mind that he's the Okay, so suspension of disbelief in Star Wars. Everybody knows how to do it, but never mind that you're the only fucking broke ass little pod racer racing, and you're not getting shot at. Okay, I buy it. Fine, whatever. You're almost there, and then you don't get killed, so Rose can be like, you have to fight for what you love, for real. Really?
That was great.
That's another 10 minutes of the movie you could have just fucking cut out and gave me more Luke backstory.
They're trying to have a relationship with Kylo and Rey because I was kind of confused about the Finn thing. I thought Finn was kind of in the running, but now when they put Rose there like that, I'm like, okay.
I literally got love triangle vibes, and it pissed me off because at the end you see like Finn being all like sweet to Rose, and then you see Rey sitting there watching them, and I'm like, are you really? With Twilight now? Really? That's what we're doing? Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. That's a good example. Twilight.
That's where we're at now? Like, oh no, now we've got a love triangle? Really? She knew him for 10 minutes. 10 minutes she's known this guy. All of a sudden you're Stop it, Disney.
That's all it takes.
Oh, really? Is that oh, shit.
Falling in love online. It doesn't take very long. It's the same thing.
I mean, okay, I can buy it if they'd have been online. Like, you're right, it's easy to fall. But y'all were like, you knew each other. You had real conversations. When you actually talk to a motherfucker, it doesn't happen that fast.
Right. She was ready to.
I mean, you might as well have just animated that scene right there. And I'm mad at you, Disney, because in Frozen you made fun of that, and then you did it in fucking Star Wars of all movies. Are you fucking for real?
Oh my god. Yeah, there's just so much wrong with this movie that it's hard to even. And what makes it even worse is because, like you said, you could pick out some things that were well done that made sense that would have been great. Yeah. And if Ryan Johnson had an editor and another writer there saying, no, you don't want to do this.
I don't understand why. How did JJ Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy and the people at how did you read this and think it was okay? Like, that entire casino subplot went nowhere. That whole shit on the ship was like the dumbest. What are you? I don't get it. Like, you might as. I mean, you literally could have had them all sneak off while Leia was in a coma. Everybody goes to the planet. That whole section with the rebels is about them shoring up defenses or whatever. Maybe fucking Finn and Rose want to try to sneak on the ship to maybe get rid of a weapon or whatever, so they can't come down onto the planet. So that could have been their. So you can still put them on the ship and get caught, but at least now their plot has purpose, right? So that's literally 20 minutes, and then you spend the next hour and a half where you should be on sending off Luke Skywalker. Yeah. Like that's like, you know, we talk about the night, we talk about what he saw, why he's there. We actually see him, like, more of his interactions with, which I thought were great. I thought Mark Hamill played this version of Luke so well, even probably because he hated it so much that he really channeled that shit. But he did such a good job, and I don't understand why you wouldn't. This story is so interesting. It's such an interesting story. Like, how did Luke get here? How do you not tell that story?
We're just supposed to, you know, go with it because it's Star Wars, Crystal. That's the problem. We're just supposed to be like, oh, yeah, okay.
Like, shit.
Makes no sense.
I mean,
and then he tries to make up for it by having Luke see the twin suns at the end of the Tatooine twin suns, and you're just like no, that didn't work.
Fuck
even
you.
the way you had him die didn't make no sense.
You didn't even give me a lightsaber battle with Kylo Ren. Fuck you, bro. Fuck you.
You give me astral projection. I mean, really?
That's what I got.
Astral projection was enough to kill him.
Apparently.
To top him.
Apparently.
I mean, I say this: if astral projection was enough to kill him, why didn't he just physically go there then? Right. It didn't make any sense for him not to physically be there. So apparently, Luke was never physically anywhere. Luke never left the island. Luke was
he didn't.
Luke was so powerful that he was astral projecting himself everywhere that he went. Okay, that's wonderful. That
I mean,
makes
he didn't go any. I mean, I
a whole lot of sense, Disney. That really it just dawned on me now. I just realized he didn't go anywhere.
He didn't. No, he never left the island.
Astral projecting everywhere.
I don't understand why he doesn't come home. I don't understand why he's not. I literally thought he was there, and I'm like, yes, now we're going to see badass Luke Skywalker. Finally, because I wasn't like, when he was like fired, when all those things were firing on him and nothing happened, I wasn't even mad about that either, because I thought he was, that's Luke Skywalker. Like, I'm thinking about that scene in, like, you saw it in the trailers for Star Wars The Old Republic, where fucking, the Darth Malgus is getting fired at, and he's literally just waving his hands using the Force to block the. So I'm literally thinking that's what Luke is doing, and I'm like, oh, you about to learn today, bitch. You about to learn today. I was ready for it.
Yeah, I was hyped up too. I was like, oh my god, where he's about to save this movie. I'm like, yes, here we go.
Right. I was like, yes, third act is gonna redeem all of this shit. Leia's about to come out and beat his ass too. Like, yeah, let's do it. And I got He's about
to get a family whooping.
I got nothing.
Why
not? Why wasn't Leia standing? Can you imagine how awesome that would have been? Where, like, the smoke clears and you see, like, Leia standing behind Luke with, like, her hand up, like, just looking, like, whatever. How awesome would that have been? Oh my god, it's killing me. Like, I want to write it. Like, how amazing would that have been instead of what you write?
The look, how perfect it would have been.
Because Carrie Fisher could have done it. Luke, it literally, it was almost such a brilliant scene, especially when Kylo Ren comes out all, like, fucking teenager, like, whatever. And he's like, are you here to save me? And Luke's like, no. Nah, like, you fucked up. You about to get that ass whooping. Like, he's like, no, I'm not here to save you. You're done. That's it. That was awesome. It was awesome. I was like, great.
Until you realize that Luke isn't there. You see,
right? I don't even get, like, I get Mark Hamill is old, but I don't want to, like, bullshit. I saw fucking Sigourney Weaver doing some ninja shit in The Defenders. Okay, don't fucking tell me there couldn't have been a lightsaber battle between Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker. Do not tell me that.
They could have used a stuntman or CGI to needed to.
Right, so easy that there was no reason we did not get that fucking battle. No reason
we didn't
get
that lightsaber fight. Really, that. Like, and is it just me, or did the lightsabers look a little bit off in this movie too?
We didn't see them that much.
No, but they looked weird. Like, to me, they didn't even look like they were. Like, the only lightsaber I thought that really looked like it's supposed to was Kylo Ren's. I thought that everybody else's just looked kind of strange. Like, they almost, like, to me, like they CGI'd all the lightsabers. Like, there wasn't any it didn't look like they were the real ones, like the ones that they had in previous films. But I don't know.
You couldn't have.
I just was I just was overwhelmed with hatred for this movie. And I can't even. I
Oh,
wish there was a way that I could have came away with it and said, well, I kind of liked it, but I can't even say that. I'd be lying to
no.
myself.
I'm
I didn't like
sorry.
it at all. Like
I
it's
want to go watch it again because I am. I kind of liked it because I see the potential in it because I thought it had some good moments. But man, you fucked up what you fucked up.
a couple of good scenes doesn't make it a good.
No, it doesn't.
I,
It doesn't.
like
I mean,
I
God.
could say, okay, yeah, there were a couple of good scenes in there that were cool. Maybe if I think really hard, I can think of something maybe that I like. But like, I liked the the opening where it said a long time
Hmm.
ago in a galaxy far, far away. I
Oh,
really liked that, and I liked seeing Star Wars on the big screen. I thought that was really cool. I didn't really care much for the opening crawl, though. The opening crawl kind of seemed like a throwaway. Like you read it, you're just like, what? Okay, all right. Mm-hmm.
I don't.
and
Yeah, I don't know where. I don't know what. I don't. I don't.
I don't know
It's
where I fall here. I'm just kind of like, I really I think if Luke would have survived this movie, I think I would feel a little better because there would be potential for them to go somewhere else in the next movie. But
yeah.
with Carrie Fisher being dead,
God.
it's just kind of like
It's
you're
heartbreaking.
now.
It's
Yeah,
heartbreaking.
there's
This is
no
how you end that. Like it's fuck. It's just
like
oh.
were we really gonna get to see a badass Jedi, Carrie Fisher in Episode 9? Is that what this was? Were we gonna? Is that the reason why she didn't confront her son in this movie? Because in Episode 9 we were gonna get her confronting her son finally. Is that what was gonna happen in the final film?
Maybe,
I'm starting
you
to
know.
wonder if maybe the final film was really gonna be where we got to see everything that you and I were talking about with the
Maybe,
badass.
yeah. And it almost would make sense that okay, so episode, 7 was by Han, 8 would have
Hello.
been by Luke, and then 9 would have been by Leia. Okay, that's fine. Well, by the way, you fucked up Luke's, but okay. And but now we're not going to get that in 9. And I feel bad for them, okay, cuz it's not their fault. But you could have done something in this movie to send her off, and I don't know how you're going to rectify that in 9, especially
There's
because now you've got a Star Wars base that is so divided over this film that
oh,
I mean, so divided over this film.
It's incredible. Like you go out, and you see all the reviews. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how the audience has the movie as rotten and the critics love this movie. Like
Yeah,
it's
and even the fans that like it too, like it's so divisive. And
well,
even the
I,
Force
I
Awakens wasn't this divisive. Like,
no.
okay, so you had some fanboys that were mad about Rey, get over yourselves. You had some people that were like, it's like a New Hope, like deal with it. Like, it had to be like that was like you get, but not like this. Not like you literally. People are either like I like this film or like I hated this film or like it's me. I'm in the middle. Like I'm literally a gray Jedi right now. Like I don't know what to do with this. I
I love
don't
I
know.
love your struggle with this because see at least you can understand you can see my point of view
Oh
because
yeah,
you
without question. Like nothing you said is wrong. Like anybody's critique of this movie, there's just they're not wrong. Like I think if you don't like this movie because it wasn't the Star Wars you expected, you're dumb. Okay, I do.
oh,
But
yeah,
I think like you're stupid. Like if you don't like this movie because Rey's a Jedi and you don't like that she's got all these powers, get over it. Like you're dumb. Let it
but
go.
there were things
You
that
know.
were set up. The gifts were exchanged
Oh,
during the Force Awakens. There were things
there
that
were so
we were
many.
supposed to get. There were things that we were supposed to get. It's like a kid at Christmas not getting nothing.
Nothing. We
There
did,
were things
and and
you
I'm
were.
not mad that we didn't get nothing. If you had given me something else, and that's what's driving me crazy. Like Ray's parents
Oh,
are nobody.
with
It's
the,
awesome.
yeah,
She's just
yeah.
picked. Like I get it. Like she's the new Anakin Skywalker. I don't even know what the fuck her last name is, but it's Ray. I got
So
it.
then
Awesome.
we want
Awesome.
Kenobi calling her in the previous movie. Then why did we get all these little hints that she's either a Kenobi or a
Right though. Right. I mean, maybe they were just okay. So explore. So if you're gonna say that Rey's parents are a nobody, that's fine. Explore that then. Explore why she's the chosen one. I mean, damn, you did that over the course of 3 fucking movies with Anakin. Okay, like if Kylo, like fuck Snoke. Okay, fine, fuck Snoke. All right, whatever. Kylo Ren's. This is Kylo Ren's story. Okay, give me Kylo Ren's story then. Where is it? Why? I mean, if you know what I'm saying.
See Knights of Ren. Where's the Knights of Ren? What's the story?
Right,
How did he become who he is?
Right. Like, you know, like we're literally just led to believe that Luke looked in his head, saw that Snoke had infected him, and thought and realized that he couldn't save him.
We don't see it.
But we don't see it. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. But at the same time, Rey's like, we don't. It's like they didn't read their fucking script, because that's what you're telling me that Luke saw, but that's not the Kylo Ren we see. So how is this? Like, I literally saw Kylo Ren not shoot his mom. Luke didn't see that. Rey sees this struggle, but Luke fucking Skywalker doesn't. Tell me why. Okay, if that's what you're fucking shoving down my throat, then you need to tell me why.
I think I figured out episode 9. I think I know what they were going to do. I think it ultimately was going to be Princess Leia that was going to bring her son back to the light. Because just like you pointed out, he could have killed his mother, but he didn't.
He couldn't. Yeah, he could not do it.
It was somebody else that shot up that ship.
Right, it was those 2 other TIE fighters that shot it up, right?
But he didn't do it. He couldn't do it. He couldn't bring himself to do it. Why couldn't he bring himself to do it? Because he was conflicted about Han. He didn't want to kill Han either. Yeah, now you have all this stuff, and that's where you say that's where Luke looks like the complete douche, because everything that Luke is doing is based off of stuff that only Luke sees.
Right, and we don't see what Luke sees at all. Well, we see a completely different Kylo Ren than Luke does, which is interesting. That could be a really interesting story. Tell me why. Tell me why Luke sees Kylo Ren this way, and we don't, because all I see is a whiny, conflicted child. That is all I see from Kylo Ren. He's not scary. He's talented. He's strong in the Force, but he's not scary. Even when Anakin Skywalker was emo, he was scary. Like, I would, if you know what I'm saying?
Alone in a room with him.
you know, like, okay, here's my choice. I can be alone in the room with emo Kylo Ren, or I can be alone in the room with Anakin Skywalker.
To be with Kylo, because
Kylo Ren every fucking time. Don't put me. Nope. Nope. Luke Skywalker. I mean, Anakin Skywalker killed kids. Like, legit killed some children. Like, nope. No. Yeah. Like, he embraced that. Like, he's just like, I don't get it.
I just don't see Kylo Ren as evil, because even when he killed his father, it was all just like an act for Snoke. He didn't do it. Like, it didn't seem like he really. He was behind it. Like, that's the biggest problem with this movie. This movie is not committed. It doesn't know where it wants to be.
Yeah.
It has identity crisis
the
size of Texas, and you're never going to find, and you're not going to be able to solve that and clean that up with one more movie.
Because I was happy that he didn't get a redemption arc, because I really didn't want Kylo Ren to have one. I wanted Kylo Ren to just embrace who the fuck he was.
I thought was what was going to happen. When he killed Snoke, I thought, okay, now he's going to be on Rey's side, and it's essentially going to be, like a redemption arc, like you said. Where,
I was disappointed, but I was like, because the movie theater that I was in clapped when he killed Snoke, but I'm like, hold up, wait. I was like, let me see, because I was literally going to be like, oh, fucking shoot me, I'm like, no, like, you have this opportunity to be this amazing Sith, be one. Like, fucking be one, even if you're going to try to be like, fuck the Sith, fuck the Jedi.
I knew though that there had to be a twist on it though too, because that was too much like Return of the Jedi, like when Vader killed the Emperor. Like, you can't have if Kylo just kills Snoke and then is all of a sudden, good and with Rey again, then it's just kind of like you're
right. And I feel like they were trying to make him be like Anakin in that moment, where like how Anakin looked at fucking Padme and he was like, come with me, we can rule the universe together, and Padme was like, oh my god, you're breaking my heart. Right. But you did not set up Kylo Ren as a character that he deserves that comparison. You have not done that.
No, and the fact that they're forcing us to make that comparison just goes to show how fucked this movie is.
Yeah, like, you have not established him as this, and you should have. Because, like, in The Force Awakens, when you got those flashbacks of what happened, I would, like, now I'm slowly thinking that Kylo Ren is like, okay, so maybe he's going to grow into this. Like, he was scarier, and I use that term very lightly, in The Force Awakens than he was in this movie.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, when you saw that flashback with Rey of them standing there in the rain and he's all in his outfit and all the dead bodies around, like, where did that
JJ
moment
Abrams
go?
understood his character a lot better than Ryan Johnson
yes,
does.
He did. Yes, the fuck
Because
he did.
Ryan Johnson kind of makes him kind of just. It seemed like Ryan Johnson went campy with just about everybody. He was trying to make people caricatures, or almost like funny paper characters.
I mean, you had a job to change the story. Do it. Okay, fine. Change the story. But tell the story that you're changing. Don't just be like, accept it, accept it, accept it, accept it. Have you met any of the Star Wars fans? I don't know if you've met anybody. Like, hi Ryan. Are you a Star Wars fan? Because I don't believe that you've met any of us. Because Star Wars fans will overlook a lot. Like, come on, like go watch A New Hope. Tell me that's a perfect movie. Like, come on, like, it's cheesy as fuck. Don't give a fuck, love it. Don't care, love it. Don't give a fuck, love it. So Star Wars fans will accept a lot, except this. Like, this is, I don't know what you did, bro.
Because now you're saying, you're basically saying, look, I could make a movie any way I want to, with no regard for any of the characters, only what I want to do.
He's like, Jesus Christ. He's like fucking Kylo Ren. Like, he threw a temper tantrum in this movie. Like, he let him fucking threw a temper. Like, this is my movie. I'm gonna make it my way. My way. Okay.
And
you're smart enough to do that. Whereas this, I mean,
good job.
Like, I was excited about you doing it your way, because I was like, you're a good, like, what? I don't like. Was he fucking on crack when he wrote this? Like, I don't understand. Like, and I'm not trying to be mean to him, but Looper was so good. How is this so bad? Looper was so good.
This is like him. Yeah, he had to have been on crack. I really believe that there was a huge drug party during the production. They had designer drugs from alternative universes nobody even heard of, and they just went to town. And when it came time to put this movie out there, it was just like, we got the greatest script ever. Oh, this is wonderful. But Rogue One needed reshoots, but this doesn't.
Right.
When Carrie Fisher died, they needed to reshoot the end, because needed to somehow bridge it so that you will have at least one original trilogy character alive for the final film, if you're going to.
Did you really think The Force Awakens that it was so much like they literally like I was reading this online too, that somebody said, like, it's almost like they thought, like, they listened, like they pulled a DC, like they thought that everybody didn't like The Force Awakens so much, and they had to make this movie so different that they forgot to make a good movie.
Yeah.
No, look, I know that there was and I'm going to call it like a small majority that did have that critique about The Force Awakens, but not to the point that people hated the movie. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because you're a big Star Wars, like, were people that mad about The Force Awakens? Like, am I, like, not understanding? Like,
not that I know of.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think people were more upset about, like, I feel like the bigger debate about The Force Awakens was really about Rey and whether or not she was OP.
Because she was super powered. Because she was
right. Even though people forget that fucking Kylo Ren was shot in that scene, but whatever. Like, like, I feel like that was like the biggest critique, not that it was like A New Hope. So again, I know that there was a lot of pressure to not be like The Empire Strikes Back. So again, this is literally what it comes down to, is you didn't tell a story. You changed everything, which is great, but like you could. Like,
you get an A for effort. You changed everything.
Right.
Good job.
Good job.
You changed everything.
Fucking great. I know. Like, woo. Like, great.
You changed everything. That's wonderful.
Great.
We should just applaud you. In fact, not only that, we're going to reward you with your own separate Star Wars trilogy, Ryan Johnson,
scared.
because you are amazing. You're the best director working today. You deserve your own trilogy. Thanks for screwing up this.
Tim Corbin on your Facebook page just says Ryan Johnson is 10 times the writer George Lucas will ever be. Whoa, calm down.
Whatever.
Calm down. Not in this movie. Not,
I'm
not
not
this,
gonna.
not
I'm
this
not
fucking
gonna.
movie.
I'm not gonna dignify him with a response because George Lucas. Say what you will about the prequels, every single one of them was better than the movie we just got
You
for real.
know, yeah. I'm
Ev-
gonna have
All,
to go back and watch the prequels now again. Like I'm.
all of them were
Fuck.
good. All of them were better than this because this right here is such a mess that you almost have to you almost have to say it's like you have to. I sympathize with you though, Crystal, because I know there's some things in there you liked, you thought were cool, and it's like you got to sift through it just to find that, like
That's it.
the
I
rock,
wish I just
the
hated it.
rocks in the turd. You got to find the
Yes, this is
diamonds
this
in
is
the
where I'm
turd.
at.
Here
I
they are.
wish I
Here they
just. This is like it's heartbreaking for me because I love Star Wars so much, and to be sitting on this movie that I was so excited about, and to be coming out of it like I'm depressed. I am like literally depressed
Yes.
about what they did because you can't undo this. Like you can't fix this. There's no and you. I'm really tired of fucking like these movie studios breaking my heart like this. When it comes to the most important part of the story, you
Right.
fuck it up. This
Right.
happens so often in movies that I've watched, in TV shows that I've watched. I never expected it from Star Wars. I never expected them to do this.
Because there's no excuse for it. There's too much material
No.
out there that you can take from. You could cherry pick. You could have showed that scene where Luke Skywalker is married to Mara Jade, and
Mm-hmm.
Mara Jade gets killed,
By
and you could
Kylo Ren.
see by Kylo Ren. You could have showed that scene in the movie to give
Damn,
us.
make her pregnant. Really fucking hammer it in. Lightsaber to the gut. Fucking Game of Thrones style. Just do it.
Yeah, like the way that they handled Snoke, the way the Game of Thrones Snoke. There was so much mystery surrounding Snoke, and now he's just a throwaway. Fooled you. Snoke was MacGuffin. Snoke was the MacGuffin.
I
Like,
got, I got,
okay, that's great. That's perfect. Okay, wonderful. Snoke is a, Snoke is a nobody. Ray is a nobody.
Right.
We're just in a universe full of nobodies now. And guess what he did? He ended the movie with a nobody.
Yeah.
Let's just think about that for a moment. The little kid was sweeping up some shit, and he's standing there looking, and they ended the movie on this little kid, this nobody, and you're just like, so
Okay,
basic.
okay, hang on. I might maybe okay. So is it just me, or did that kind of feel? I almost and this is bad. I know this is wrong. I'm like opening myself up to like so much when I say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. For a second, that scene almost felt like Ryan Johnson going, "Don't worry, fanboys, there'll be a boy Jedi again soon." Like that's almost what it felt like to me. Like otherwise, like why?
No, well, the message I got from it was any nobody can lead a rebellion. Like anybody, like he might as well have ended the movie with a shot of like a fat kid walking out of Dunkin' Donuts with a big with like 3 dozen donuts carrying just happy go lucky, and then the last shot you see him pull up his shirt and he's got a hilt with a lightsaber on it and he lights the lightsaber. I mean, you really are. I mean, that's really what I think he was trying to say. Like, oh, anybody can be a
And you
Jedi,
know
or
what?
anybody
I would
can.
be okay with that if you had told a better story the fucking the 2.5 hours prior to that moment. Like, if you had to really embrace this whole gray Jedi, let's end the Jedi, let's end, if that had been the story that you told, and if the message that I was supposed to walk out of Star Wars with was that now it's not about chosen ones or what the fuck ever, it's about balance in the Force, and we need to let go of things, and anybody can be, okay, if that's the message, that is what I should have spent 2.5 hours watching. That's not what I watched. So
Exactly.
pick a fucking message. Pick one.
Pick a message. What's more important here? Okay, and so what is the real relationship between Kylo Ren and Rey? Is there anything that we're supposed to get from that?
I mean,
What?
balance. I'm what I'm supposed to be. What I'm supposed to understand, and this is from what I'm being told, and not almost kind of shown, but a little bit shown. Okay, is that because Kylo Ren is so quote unquote powerful, which I'm yet to see, but okay, because he's so uber. That's why Rey is uber. So the Force is about balance, and it's supposed to balance itself out. Okay. Kylo Ren is evil, though. He's not like, fuck. I mean, like, okay.
Is he evil, or is he just conflicted and misunderstood? Is he really evil? I mean, how would that psychologically impact you if what we were shown is actually what happened, where the kid is just laying in his bed and he's thinking about how he's going to be a Jedi and he worships his Uncle Luke.
Okay,
all of a sudden his Uncle Luke comes into the room, lights up a lightsaber, and is looking at him with a crazy look in his eye like he's ready to... I mean, it just is so
but here's the story that we're supposedly told about this moment, though, because remember Luke said it. Luke said that when he looked in Kylo Ren's mind, Kylo Ren had already been tainted by Snoke. So here's
what we saw.
Right, so this is how fucked up that scene is. You see innocent Kylo Ren and crazy ass Luke telling us this shit. Okay, so then apparently, fucking after seeing his uncle standing over him with a weapon, fucking flips out. But then Kylo Ren, like, really flips out. Not only does Kylo Ren, like, pull that down on his fucking uncle, but then he goes so far as to kill everybody in the new fucking Jedi place. Why didn't we see that?
Why didn't they show that?
Right.
Even JJ Abrams gave us a glimpse of that.
Why didn't Rian Johnson think that was important? You can't keep telling me that this character is so uber and make comparisons to Anakin Skywalker and Jesus Christ. I mean, George Lucas, you could say what you want about the first three trilogies, but at least he built up the mythology of Anakin Skywalker. Like
absolutely.
Like it doesn't even matter what you think about those movies. You saw him become Darth Vader.
Saw him go. He was ready to kill some.
Right. It wasn't just he didn't just pop up and you were like, oh, what's up? This Darth Vader, he badass. I mean, that's what you got in the original trilogies, but even then it was like new. Okay, it's a new movie, this is it. But he went back and he told that story. So now you have an opportunity. You got 2.5 fucking hours, bruh. Tell a fucking story. Oh my god.
Yeah. It was great. All the hype, the machine, and you're thinking, and you're like, and in the back,
trailer was better than the movie. The trailer was better than the movie.
Oh yeah, the trailer that I saw was cool, and it was just like, okay, cool. I would have been more happy with Luke Skywalker had they just made Luke Skywalker a villain. Had they just said, you know what, whatever. Right. Yeah, you know, because at this point you're not gonna. I
would have understood that he becomes Anakin. That's cool.
Yeah, if you're gonna ruin him to the point where he's not likable, and then you're just gonna kill him. He's not likable for the entire movie, and then you just kill him off anyway. Then you might as well have just made him the villain of the story. Maybe make him like the Wizard of Oz behind Snoke or something.
Leia should have fucking slapped him.
But no, Leia
should have knocked him the fuck out when he appeared. He deserved to get punched in the fucking throat.
He just was horrible, and I can sympathize with Mark Hamill too, because Mark Hamill hated the role. I mean, he had said that he fundamentally disagreed with everything that Rian Johnson was doing with his character.
And now I understand why. I do, and I feel for Mark Hamill. I feel for Mark, and I feel for the fans, because that is. I almost want to forget this movie. Not the movie, but I want to forget. Like, I kind of. You know what? I'm at the point, like, Zod, that I kind of do. I kind of just want to forget. I kind of just want to watch The Force Awakens. And that's it. And
just forget that this movie happened and wait and see what they decide to do, because I guarantee.
I mean, I've got 2 years to get over it, so.
If there was backlash over The Force Awakens on the level that you were speaking about earlier, if there really was,
right,
then the backlash they're going to get over this, there's no telling what kind of movie we're going to get with 9. They'll be like,
now I feel, but I feel really disheartened, because, you know, it's almost like now it's like this horrible, helpless feeling that I feel when I'm playing, like, EA games, because they keep ruining, like, story games, you know? Because all these critics are, like, fucking all up Disney's ass about this movie. And, you know, okay, if you like this movie, I understand why. I do, because there are some good points. But for me, as someone who accepts change, I embrace change. I was excited about these new characters. I was excited about a different direction. I liked, you know, I thought that there were some good ideas in this that were poorly executed. And the problem is that you poorly executed, though, a really fucking important character. I said it before. You took the most important part of the story and you didn't tell it right. So that's literally how and so now I don't know if you allowed this movie to happen, I no longer have faith in the rest of the Star Wars trilogies. I don't. I don't have any more faith in this.
Especially with all the behind the scenes, especially with all the behind the scenes bananas going on over the Han Solo movie.
Yeah, they got so beloved.
They done with the movie. So what does that say about this? What did Rian Johnson do to get so beloved by the producers of this film that he was able to create something like?
I don't know how you watched this and you were okay with it. It wasn't good enough. Like, this would have been like rough draft. Like, I would have sat down with this and have been like, this is literally a rough draft. This is like, all right, I see what you're doing. Here's what we need to fix. Like that. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened that this got made. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I've got nothing.
A drug-induced stupor. That's what happened.
It was not good enough. And I expect a Star Wars movie with plot holes. I expect a Star Wars movie with shit that you're just going to be like, are y'all for real? Like, every Star Wars fan. I don't think there's a Star Wars fucking fan out there that expects a perfect Star Wars movie. If you do, you're not a real Star Wars fan. I call bullshit on you. Like, bullshit. Like, you don't. Like, no. Like, Star Wars is cheesy as hell. It's awesome. It's wonderful. Like, let's be real about what Star Wars is. But it's brilliant. And the stories are so good. And the family and the mythology and the lightsabers. And it's all so... like you said, you had so much to work with. And I'm not mad about what you tried to do, but how you tried to do it was literally like fan fiction. Bad written I've read fan fiction better than this.
Well, I'm saying I guess what I'm saying. Your novel, episode 9. Let's go.
They can't have my novel. They'll fuck it up. Shit.
Well, that's what I would be. That's what I would be afraid of if I was you, as writing something like that. What you wrote. And they look at your novel and they say, okay, well, no, we got to change this, and this, and then anything they tell you have to change. You just say one thing. You just say, Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean,
man, why you do this?
Like nobody, like, I don't understand how, like I said, how JJ Abrams was okay with that. I mean,
I want to sit down with them and talk about it. Like, what did you not? How did you not see that? Like, how did you? Yeah, why? That's a really good fuck. Now I'm concerned about episode 9 right now. Like, what the fuck did you read in this script and you were so excited about that you wanted to make it?
Good. Like when Luke, like when you see Luke at the end, and let me think about this too for a second. The ending scene with Luke Skywalker at The Force Awakens, when Luke Skywalker pulled back his hood, and you actually got to see the full frame shot of Luke Skywalker standing there, and Luke just had this aloof look on his face. He looked badass. He looked like the old version of the character from A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the continuation, what Rian Johnson did, Luke looked like shit the whole movie. Like they made Luke didn't even look like he did at the end of the Force Awakens.
I don't understand how you don't see this disconnect. I don't like I wish I could sit down with Rian Johnson, and how could you have thought that it wasn't important to tell his story? How could you have thought that? How could you have given us this version of Luke and thought that it was okay to not tell us how? Or, like, why did you think that little fucking flashback that you gave us in the tent with Kylo Ren was enough? Why? Why did you think that was enough?
With that look on his face, though. That was,
you know what I like too? But see, that could have been so cool, because when Kylo Ren is telling Rey what happened, Luke looks like fucking Darth Sidious. He literally looks like straight up like a Sith. When Luke tells the story the first time, he looks conflicted, but not as evil. So it's interesting, like it's kind of cool because you get to see like how Kylo Ren saw him. Like Kylo Ren looked up and saw like Luke like all like evil, so you understand why Kylo Ren acted the way he did. It's like you totally get it, because like you gotta like literally just fucking Zod, go back and just watch that scene, like just those little moments, like the way Luke looks when Luke tells it, and the way Luke looks when Kylo Ren tells it. It's awesome. Like it's really cool. Can we get more? Now finish telling the story, please.
like you can understand if that's how Kylo Ren saw it. You can understand why he turned out the way he did.
Absolutely.
Not only that, you can understand why he has a grudge against his parents too. Like
absolutely. Like this is Luke's fault.
Put me with that child molester uncle. This is what you expect me to be. You expect me to be good. You expect me to come home. Fuck you. You all can go to hell.
It's so confusing. Like I'm thinking about it too. Like Kylo Ren looks like this innocent child, but yet we're being told he's a monster, and we keep being told that, and I don't see it. Like I literally all I see is a child playing on the dark side or trying to. I see it, like the entire he doesn't grow up. Like Jesus, at least Anakin Skywalker grew up and grew into his role. Like you don't. I've got 2 movies of Kylo Ren, no growth. No growth.
I look at Kylo Ren, look at Kylo Ren, I see my young nephew just confused and just trying to go through life and find out who he is. You don't see him as he just, innocent. He does look innocent. He still looked innocent even after he killed Han Solo. When he killed Han Solo, he looked innocent. Yeah. That whole scene between them was so heartbreaking so
it was so well done.
Emotional resonance because it was well done. It was done right. That's how you do a scene like that of importance. That's how you set up sympathy. And you had to have sympathy for both Han Solo and Kylo Ren at that moment.
Yeah, that was horrible. And it was wonderful, but it was horrible. And it was wonderful. It was such a good scene. And it could have been made all the more powerful if fucking Luke had been there or Leia. Like, and I'm not even, and I remember that I was not even, it was after the fact that I heard Mark Hamill actually say that, and I was like, that would have made it better, but it wasn't bad. But it wasn't bad. It's not like what I'm dealing with now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You're like, okay, now we have no explanation for nothing. These characters just do things, and we don't know why. We don't understand their motivations. There's no clear direction with anybody. I mean, nobody could have any. If they wanted to do this movie like this, to set it up so that Episode 9 would be a complete mystery, they've completely succeeded. Because there's no way from anything that's in this movie that you can deduce what you're going to get in Episode 9. There is no clear-cut story whatsoever. When you see Empire Strikes Back, you have some ideas about where they might go with Return of the Jedi. You are saying, okay, there's a clear direction here as to what they're going to do. This is how you build a story. This is thematically where the story is. The themes resonate from one movie to the next. Mm-hmm. This movie did not know what it wanted to be. There was no clear-cut theme whatsoever. I still don't know what the hell I watched. Yeah. So now you have that.
I'm sad, Zod. Like the more I'm really sad because let me tell. Everybody loves Empire Strikes Back, and don't get me wrong, Empire Strikes Back is the bee's knees. But my favorite out of the original trilogy is Return of the Jedi, and my favorite out of the Return of the Jedi is because for me, the scene where Luke is fighting Darth Vader is the most powerful thing I've ever seen. Like to this day, oh God, the music. The way it was done, like I close my eyes and all I see are them like in that silhouette underneath that little overpass, red lightsaber clashing against the green one, and it's like fuck me, I could just die right now and be so like, and I'm sad right now because I realize too when I think about, I feel like I'm never gonna get a moment like that again. For some reason, with this amazing story and all Rian Johnson is talented. JJ Abrams is talented. All the fucking talented people in Hollywood, people that contributed to the EU. It's George Lucas, like he gave us that moment. So I feel like I'm never going to get a moment special like that again. That is how disappointed I am in this movie. I'm never going to get another one. Like, it's gone. Like, it's like old school. Like, we'll never. And, and I'm not expecting these movies to be as good as the trilogy, but in a way I kind of am, because there's no reason they shouldn't be.
Right. Right. I mean, the idea is that they want us to care about these new characters. And with Force Awakens, they did a good job. They set it
I
up
was ready to do
where
it.
you could start to care about these characters. So, but the idea is you can't shit all over the original characters and expect our love to be transferable and say, okay, now you don't have them anymore, but at least you have these people over here. So now you need to transfer that love and that faith into these characters so that, their time is done. We're trying to rid the universe of these old, worn-out characters. We don't need them anymore. We want you to love these new ones over here. That's what they're trying to tell us to do, and they're not doing a good job. The only character, like you said, they did it right with was Han Solo. That's completely acceptable. That made sense thematically in the form of the story. JJ Abrams knew how to tell the story. He conveyed all the emotions. It was there. It was perfect. Like you said, it would have been better if Luke and Leia were there, but it doesn't matter because ultimately what they did was fine, and it worked for the film, and it didn't ruin the resonance of the scene regardless.
Exactly.
But here, we don't get none of that. We don't know anything. Luke dies alone on an island like he said, he came here to die, and that's exactly what he did. When you break it all down, what all Luke Skywalker accomplished in this movie was that he died.
That's literally it. Yeah, that's literally it.
Everyone else.
You spent 2.5 hours taking the guy who turned Darth Vader back. Right. You took the guy who turned Darth Vader to the light side, told me, right. So you told me that this guy, for some reason, looked at fucking Kylo Ren, okay, and saw something so horrible in him that he gave up and isolated himself away from Han and Leia. That's what you told me. And then you didn't tell me why, and you didn't give me any good reasons for his motivation, and then you killed him. And now you expect me to care about Episode 9.
Right, exactly. That's the problem. That's the biggest issue right there.
I want to, because it's Star Wars. I'm like in an abusive relationship right now, Zod. I really am. I do. I'm in an abusive relationship with Star Wars right now, because as angry as I am, there is a little part of me that really wants to be excited for Episode 9 because I love Star Wars so much.
Right.
You know what I'm like? Do you feel that? There's that little part that I really I'm gonna go see Episode 9 and I really want to be hyped. But you abuse me.
Should I give them this one because of everything positive that we've gotten as Star Wars fans over the decades? Are we supposed to just be like, okay, we can give you this one? You screwed up. It's okay. We still love you, but you fucked up big time. I mean, not just big time. I mean, it was colossal. You basically took the heart and soul of Star Wars and you basically raped it. And it doesn't exist and it's gone. So now what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to forgive you because of everything else and all the history that we have together. We're supposed to okay, we can.
I think I'm gonna need these 2 years to recover.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need them.
It's gonna take me 2 years to talk to you again, but you know what? We can work this out, maybe. But it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be a long road.
Real mad. Yeah, I don't think I'm ever not gonna be mad about this. I
don't know. I don't even know. And when I went to sleep that night, I woke up the morning and I was like, did I dream that? I was hoping that maybe I dreamt it. Maybe I was sleeping and I woke up and it wasn't Thursday. Maybe I was sleeping. I woke up. Maybe it was all a dream and that, I still hadn't seen the movie yet. I just dreamt the movie. Because the movie, I don't know if you caught this, but to me, the movie was so fragmented, it felt like a dream. It felt like something that was discombobulated, like there was no clear structure, so you really couldn't. It's like something
he did so many scenes really well. I mean, that's that scene where she hyperdrives the ship into the other ships. Wow. He nailed that. He nailed that. Like the way he does it and that moment of silence
But
right
her
before
character
everything.
but
I
her
know, I know, I know, I
so
know, I
uninteresting. So
know,
that
I
was
know, I know.
she's supposed to earn doing there.
Don't
Like
even look.
what
Don't even think. Just think about that one little moment. You see what I'm saying? Like you see, this is the problem with the Force. This is the problem with the Last Jedi right now. We've got all these like moments that we're like, oh my god, they were. But then you think, but then you dive into them, and you're like, nobody nitpicks Star Wars. No true Star Wars fan nitpicks it because you go out of a Star Wars movie going, I don't give a fuck. It's Star Wars. If
like
you're
it was so
nitpicking,
good.
right?
Like you
If
can't
you are nitpicking a Star Wars movie, that shit is bad.
it's because it's a bad movie.
It's because it's
When
a
you
bad movie.
nitpick it, it's a bad movie. It's not because it like you said with Force Awakens wasn't perfect,
No,
but
come
when you
on, a
look at
bigger
it
Death Star? Fuck out of
as
here.
a whole, it's great. When you think
Yeah.
when you look at it as a whole, it's great. But then this movie actually almost makes Force Awakens into a bad movie because everything that Force Awakens set up, this movie just said, you know what? No,
I don't give a
no,
fuck. I don't
no.
give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. That's literally what he
he,
no
he was
fucks
saying
given
that
about the
at 30. Like he had a checklist of I don't give a fucks. That's what
he
he had. A check
did. I
just
don't and I
sort
don't
of. Oh,
You're right.
R2D2. Oh, okay. Oh, and
I don't
see,
give a fuck.
guess what, Anthony Daniels? We don't like you anymore. You have 3 lines in the film. Fuck you. Like it just was
Oh
like
god.
he
What?
ruined it.
He I don't God damn it, y'all. Can we do why couldn't you done something with Captain
And I don't
Phasma?
understand why they didn't
Why
take
can't we do something with this character? God
such a
damn
great
it.
actress from Game of Thrones, and that's what you do to her.
You know
Why
what I'm
didn't you just have
saying?
her die?
What
Why you just
God.
garbage in the gar? Why you didn't just have her die? Have it be assumed that she
You
died?
might as well have. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, how badass is she? And I love her. I loved like we know she's got the acting chops. You couldn't have like why was this fucking like I want to fucking shake Ryan Johnson and everybody who was involved in the making of this movie that thought this was all a good idea. Like I don't. You have an entire like if I sent this to my editor, I literally like I could like if this was like this entire plot that had no purpose. That had no purpose. I was so mad. Like, not only are you cutting to Rose and Finn, who I don't give a fuck about, unfortunately, because there's so much, like, literally, I remember thinking, I don't care about this scene. I don't care about this scene. I don't care. So not only did you make me suffer through all that, okay, fine, but it didn't matter. Because their whole plan was fucking borked. Because that wasn't even the plan. Because their whole mission didn't even matter because the rebels had this whole other... What? Why?
Not only that, Benicio del Toro's character was a complete waste. They like why was he in this movie again? What was his purpose? Like he really was. I mean, that was ridiculous. You could have made him anybody, and you made him that.
Understand? Like I don't.
I want one of those llamas from the casino. I want a llama.
Like I don't.
And how much time did they spend on those cute little bird creatures that Michael was messing with?
Jesus Christ, why? Yeah, there were unnecessary
so
scenes.
On those.
I don't know why. I don't know why. Like, I don't understand. I just don't understand.
Nothing for Chewie to do. I mean, oh my God, I can't believe it. And you know what? Honestly, Han Solo's presence was missed severely in this film. I don't know about
you. I'm glad he wasn't in this film. They'd have fucked up. No, I'm glad he died. I'm glad he died because, I mean, you fucked him up. I mean, shit. I mean, at least, you know what? You did a good job with Leia. I don't know how the fuck you're going to send her off now, but at least he didn't disrespect Leia's character. To the point that I don't think he used to her. No, well, yeah, it's true. She didn't do anything either.
For 90% of the movie, so there really wasn't anything for her to do.
Like, good. You know what? Good, because he didn't fuck it up. Good.
Actually, if they wanted more emotional resonance and they wanted to have her be like a send off for her, they should have replaced Lauren Dern ramming the ship and let Princess Leia ram the ship.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that would have made sense, and then they could have kept Luke Skywalker alive at the end of this movie, and we would still have him for 9.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think they had a plan for her in 9, and that kind of got borked.
Really do. I
But
think
yeah, I do. I really, really do. But I don't. How, guys? Oh, you know what though? After seeing this movie, I realize they don't care. They literally do not give a shit about the fans. They really don't. I feel like, and that's kind of, and that's why I'm sad too, because this movie almost feels like I don't give a fuck about original Star Wars fans. We want to usher in a new era of Star Wars fans, so we don't care how we treat these other characters. And I mean, 7 didn't make me feel that way. 7 made me really, I mean, 7 was, I mean, in regards to, you know,
Seven made Luke the mythic badass that he is by giving him enough respect to build the whole movie around Luke Skywalker.
right,
That
where the
was
fuck is
epic.
Luke Skywalker? Right. You did a great job introducing these characters. We had wonderful nostalgic moments. I mean, I mean, you know, you can criticize it for being like a New Hope, and it kind of was. But I say this all, it had to be. I mean, JJ
Right,
Abrams had an amazing task.
you're reintroducing a franchise
Yes. To
new
people who are
audiences.
pissed off.
You have to do it. You have to do it well because the prequels got a lot of backlash. So you have to come away now and reintroduce and do something that works. And that's what
Yes.
JJ Abrams did. So
He did.
regardless, that's why The Force Awakens is still looked at in high regard because it's not a bad
Right.
movie.
It
It
wasn't.
did a
It
good job.
it started the trilogy off right. It was respectful. It was shocking, you know, and how it did things. And I thought it set up this next movie beautifully. So all
I know.
Ryan Johnson had to do was do what like he almost did. Like take the story in a new direction and be respectful of
But
the
build
characters that everybody loves.
Right, but
Why
build
was
off
this so
what
hard?
Yeah, why not? Why didn't he just build off of what's there? Why didn't he take the mysteries and take all of the intrigue that Force Awakens gave
Right.
you and put that into his
You
film?
could
No,
have still said Ray was a nobody. You could have still killed off Snoke like we don't give a fuck.
like,
You
he was
could
a-
have done that. Like nobody like you could have done that if you had simply told a better story around the most important character in the saga.
They're like, oh, wait a minute, oh, yeah, Snoke is nobody. Oh, so now Hux is calling Kylo Ren Supreme Leader. Okay.
Yeah, like
Wow. Okay, that's how things get done around here. Like the old Empire. Okay, yeah, Admiral.
I mean,
Remember,
that's fine. Hey, rule of 2, okay? There's always an apprentice. I mean, there's always the master and the apprentice that wants the power, right? That's how this works. I'm not mad about it. Kylo Ren's not ready for it, but that's cool. That's an interesting, like, to see what I'm saying. There's, like, so much interesting things you have to work with. And I get 30 minutes of a subplot that went nowhere with characters I genuinely like.
we
But you
get
put them in shitty roles and llamas.
we get llamas and intergalactic police, and we get casinos and all kinds of coins, like a big Vegas show.
Why did you
Get-
think we would care? I don't understand. Why did you think this was why? I don't know why.
That in a Star Wars movie, and what was with Maz Kanata in this movie? What were they going for? Like she was playing
She's playing Call of Duty. Yeah, she's playing Call of Duty. She's like, hold on, I gotta shoot this dude. I don't. Whatever. I don't.
I was just trying to figure that out. Like I was like, wow, okay. So we get video game playing Maz Kanata, and we get
Wish I hadn't seen
Wow.
this movie right now. I wish. I want to just like erase it from my brain. Because I'm gonna like, I can't even like go watch The Force Awakens to feel better. Because at the end of it, I'm just gonna be mad about like I need recovery time. I literally need recovery time.
You're kind of like you should honestly listen to the William Shakespeare version of
I'm
Force
gonna have to go check it out.
because that is like you when you hear it all and it's like just so powerful and moving and all the scenes are just great and then it's like this and then it's like you see this and I'm like, my God, I don't even know how they would do a Shakespeare version of this. So much
No.
stuff in this was just completely thrown together in a whimper. Like the dude got done binging on some crack and got a couple of scenes. Then it's like this as a writer. It's like you'll start writing something, and then if you get the worst thing you can do is start trying to write something while you're intoxicated because you'll think you've got the greatest thing you've ever written, and then when you wake up, from your hangover and you get a chance to go back to your work and you look at what you've written, you're like, what the hell was I thinking?
You do that sober. Shit, I do that sober as a writer all the time.
Which
Like, and that it.
makes
You
even
know
worse.
what? Here's what I need. I feel like we need. Look, all you little motherfucking Hollywood directors out there with your big ass egos, you need to calm the fuck down, because anybody who writes or creates needs a team around them that will be honest and real with them and tell them no and how to make things better. The best TV shows, movies, whatever that we have seen have that. Absolutely 100% have that. The reason that Orphan Black was a good show for 5 fucking seasons is because you had a team of writers who listened and set their egos aside and had somebody who, this is a true story, who read scripts and went, how do we make it cooler?
Yeah,
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I got a whole lot of ego in this movie that I didn't fucking need.
yeah, yeah. All I can say is llamas. I want one. That would be awesome. Ride your llama to work and park.
Fucking Star Wars llamas. Fuck.
I want a Star Wars llama. Damn it! That's what I got from this movie.
Fuck.
The Star Wars llama.
Read Bloodlines. Read Bloodlines, John. You'll be happier with the Star Wars universe. It's a good book. It's a really good book.
Bloodlines. Yeah, I can read.
Yep, Star Wars Bloodlines by Claudia Gray.
So does that give you more insight? Do we have a Star Wars novel that tells us anything about Luke Skywalker leading up to these films?
No, I don't know if we do.
Not really.
This one kind of. This is really. It really centers on. This is literally before the Force Awakens. It's years before the Force Awakens, so it feels like the holes that the Force Awakens didn't tell us. So it's a really, and it almost makes you excited to watch Star Wars again. It's such a good book.
Yeah, I really don't. I'm looking at it now like it's almost like you're going through a divorce.
I know.
Like,
I know.
I don't know what you want me to say, Mr. Johnson. I don't know what we're trying to get here, but
I hope you listen to the people who hated the movie more than you listen to the people who liked it. Yeah.
Yeah. You enjoyed all the drugs you used while you were doing the movie because
fucking asshole. I don't know right now, Johnson. I'm mad at you.
Kathleen Kennedy, I don't know how.
I'm mad at her. I don't either. I don't.
Like, it doesn't seem like this would be something she would have been happy with.
I don't understand. Like, I genuinely do not understand. I really don't.
Like some of the reshoots should tell you that. Like Rogue One should have told a big story. Like, what was the problem then? Like, why would this be allowed and some of the stuff that got Rogue One wasn't?
Right.
I understand. I'm really confused right now.
Now I'm actually a little scared. Like maybe Colin, whatever his name is, that was the director. He wanted to do the Force stream. He was like, no, but seriously, Episode 8 is dumb, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna ignore it. maybe that's what the fucking controversy was. Now I'm scared.
Maybe that's what he wanted to do. Think about it. Maybe he thought about that. Like, no, I'm gonna have to pretty much ignore every big
right.
in this movie. So, in other words, Luke Skywalker didn't die. He just fell asleep. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna
forced teleportation. That's what happened.
Yeah, it was just forced teleportation. It wasn't death. So we're gonna have to retcon that out of the script completely. What else here? Let's see.
You fuck out of here. They don't even know where to go with this story.
Rose isn't gonna be back in the movies at all. We're never gonna mention her character again. Captain Phasma didn't die. Like Boba Fett, she's going to be resurrected, like Boba Fett was in the EU. We're going to use Captain Phasma in the next movie.
Actually give her purpose.
And Snoke isn't dead either. Just like Darth Maul, Snoke is going to repair himself, and he will be back, and all of the mysteries regarding Snoke will be revealed. Oh, and that shit that we learned about Rey, that she's just a nobody, that's not true. So we're going to retcon that too, and we're going to, I bet you he was pissed when he read the episode 8 script. He's like, what? No.
I mean, like, I really wonder now if that's what it was. And again, it blows my mind. I don't, Zod, I don't know what happened. I don't know what
when
happened.
we want to go in a different direction than the direction he wanted to go in with this movie. So it'd be interesting to see what his script, what his ideas, what his plan was for episode.
Yeah, I'm really fucking curious now because you're like we're back to that moment where we're like we don't know what to do with Star Wars, and I'm so sad that we're here. I'm so sad that like
this is the one franchise where, like you said, as a fan, you don't want controversy. You love it as it is. You don't want there to be divisiveness in a Star
no.
with Star Wars. You want Star Wars. Divisive is not a word that should be being floated around with Star Wars.
It's true.
You got people that like it or don't like it. You got people that love it or hate it. But you don't need divisiveness because it's you like you said. Star Wars fans are very, very forgiving, and it takes a lot to piss off Star Wars fans. It took all three of the prequels to piss off Star Wars. We gave you the first one, but then after the second one, when we had to learn about romance through sand, we realized that this was not a good situation. So
and you even redeemed yourself a little bit with Revenge of the Sith. So like, what's up?
we could forgive you with the Revenge of the Sith, and then Force Awakens comes out, and if the only major complaint that people had was, well, it's too much like A New Hope, and Rey is too powerful. Okay, whatever. It was still a good movie. It was still. You still have to. You could make that argument, but though it was still good, and it still feels like Star Wars. Where now, this guy went off the reservation to the point where it doesn't even feel like it just feels like you said, like Star Wars fan fiction. Like
it's confused. It's a confused fucking movie.
But there's confusion to the point where anything good that he tried to do got derailed by everything negative that happened, and the fact that he doesn't know how to treat good characters. I think maybe he was intimidated about having to write for Luke Skywalker. Like he didn't
I would have been.
I
mean, I completely understand that. You'd have told me, like, I need you to write the movie that comes after fucking The Force Awakens. I'd have been like, I'd have shit myself. Like, you know, like, these are beloved,
the whole idea of Luke just like throwing the lightsaber like a soda pop can. I was thinking, maybe that all stems from the fact of Rian Johnson just being like, who could do something like this justice? Anything that anybody says or does here, any words that come out of Luke's mouth are going to be controversial at this point. It's not going to matter what you do. This is Luke Skywalker. So, fuck it. Just have him chuck the lightsaber and go crawl back into his little...
You know what? That's literally what he did this whole movie. He's like, I'm buckling under the pressure, so fuck it. Just fuck it. Fuck this. Fuck that. Fuck your tree. Fuck Luke Skywalker. Fuck this plot. Fuck these characters, fuck your build up, fuck your mythology, fuck your canon, just fuck it.
Nothing matters. Yeah, we literally had Yoda. He had a scene with Yoda to say fuck the tree. So there you go. Fuck your no.
Fuck your fan theories. Fuck all of that. Fuck it.
You wanted Snoke to be Darth Plagueis. That's what you wanted?
Nope.
Ha! Fuck you. No.
Fuck that.
And so that's what I think when Luke Skywalker mentioned, I think there was a line somewhere in there where he actually mentioned Darth Plagueis or mentioned somebody because he read all those Jedi books and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, huh? Because Luke was like mentioning all these like historical like Star Wars characters, and I'm just like, huh?
I mean, if you're gonna just break everything in a movie, can you give us something? Because that's literally what he did. He spent 2.5 hours breaking Star Wars. You spent 2.5 hours breaking it. You took everything that was good and you broke it. Even George Lucas didn't do that. Like, shit. Like, we don't like the fucking 1 and 2, but he didn't break Star Wars. He just made bad movies. You know, like they
There's a
still
difference.
felt like Star
Right,
Wars
right.
movies. We
This
just
could have.
didn't like them.
That's the
We just
problem with
didn't
this.
like the story that George Lucas wanted to tell. That's the problem with episodes 1 and 2. In fucking you literally just broke everything. Like everything. Like
There's
you
nothing
literally
left.
you just broke it. I do. I'm gonna need 2 years to be excited about
Well,
episode 9.
Like I want everything. I want everything repaired. I want
I
everything
want it
fixed.
all fucking fixed. Fucking fix
Oh,
it, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it.
You have to reshoot episode 8. You fix
I don't
this
give a
shit.
fuck. You got JJ fucking save us, JJ Abrams. You are our only hope.
Yeah, JJ Abrams. Not you got. And see, this is my thing. They got a director who did a great movie, but then what they did was they said his condition was probably like, well, I'll be your director, but you have to let me make the movie I want to make. And
I hope so. But see, here's why I'm nervous. Because I think that JJ Abrams does a great job at beginnings, but from what I have seen of his TV shows, he doesn't do such a good job with endings.
yeah,
So
he's
I'm
not good.
concerned.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. Well, I think worst case scenario that what we'll get out of JJ with this movie, the worst it could possibly
Dog, don't
be.
fucking jinx it, John, because shit, what did we think about this one? Don't even say it.
Well, with him, the worst thing could be is maybe he'll copy Return of the Jedi.
With what?
But,
with what? With who?
Dude, there's nothing left to copy it with. So.
That's what you know. There's nothing. With what? Bring back the Ewoks? That's all we can do. Because Kylo Ren's not Darth Vader. I understand that you keep telling me that he is, but he's fucking not. I mean,
that's what Rian Johnson was trying to do.
I mean, I love Rey. But I mean, I'm not even excited about her character right now. I'm literally excited about nothing.
No, because what we learned about her character is she's just.
I mean, she's an answer to Kylo Ren. That's okay. I mean, again, these are things that I can. He didn't do anything with her. He didn't do anything with her in this movie.
No, nothing.
He didn't do anything with her.
There was no real character development there either.
Nothing. He literally, you're right. He spent 2.5 hours breaking Star Wars. Oh my god. I'm like thinking about like, was there character development anywhere? Did anybody grow? Did anything change? Did like
even Finn was?
Why do people like this movie? Now I'm confused. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like I've been trying to think. I've been trying to figure that out. Like, was there any during the Force Awakens? There was.
I'm mad. This is Carrie. I was Carrie Fisher's last, and he did such a good job with like fuck. Thank God the fucking piece that Leia had. She was Leia. Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, at least
there was Force Awakens was at least there was character development between the beginning of the film and the end of the film.
Yeah.
Han Solo had an arc. Like we got to see Han Solo's final arc was brilliant.
It was good.
I mean, you actually got to see
and Rey became the reluctant hero and so did Finn and you got to see, you know, Leia's struggle and you set up Kylo Ren's backstory and
care about these characters,
right? And I cared about them, and I loved them as much. I was growing to love them as much as I loved the other ones. And then Rian Johnson came along, and he
took all our toys away and said, you know what?
He fucking set them on fire. He took our toys away, put them in the box, and was like dancing around it, laughing.
Like these new toys, but I'm not. But the thing is, I'm not giving you any new toys to play with either. That's the thing. It's like I took all your toys and burned them, but now and I didn't give you nothing else. So now you're left with nothing.
And you're supposed to like it. You're supposed to like the nothing, embrace the nothing, love it, love it.
That's what it should be called. That's it. Star Wars Episode 9, embrace the nothing. Nothing.
It needs to be called Star Wars Episode 9. I'ma fix it. That's what it needs to be called. Star Wars Episode 9. I'm gonna fix it.
I'm looking at JJ Abrams, and now I understand.
I'm JJ Abrams hard as hell right now. You better like what?
I think that's why they brought JJ Abrams in for Episode 9.
Well, I mean, shit. I hope so. I hope they brought. Okay. I'm actually. I'm even more. Okay, so I know that you're a big Batman versus Star Wars, Batman versus Superman fan, but that's the writer that's working with JJ Abrams, the guy who wrote that shit.
Yeah, I know.
That doesn't inspire confidence.
It doesn't inspire confidence in you. I
It does
understand.
not inspire confidence in me at all. Like nobody, y'all can't go get Lawrence. Y'all can't go get he's not available.
Lawrence Kasdan doesn't want anything else to do with this shit. You understand that, don't you? Lawrence Kasdan is like, oh, okay, this is your episode 8. Bye, Felicia.
Can y'all go get
Be
him,
outta
please?
here.
No, please go get him.
Larry's got better things to do. Larry and Harrison Ford are sitting around somewhere having a beer, thinking, yeah. This is exactly why we got out when we did.
Fuck, Harrison Ford's laughing. He's like, "Well, my character had a good send off."
My character was sent off beautifully. As a matter of fact, if you want to know the truth, like Han Solo was the only character treated with any kind of respect at all. Like the rest of them, just
my life goal is to buy Star Wars from Disney and remake Episode 8 the right way.
But the thing is, we've been making Episode 8 in our heads, Krista, for the last 2 years, and Episode 8 could have been so great, had so much potential. You had all the golden eggs put out for you. You didn't even
you just stepped on them. You didn't even use them. It's like, here are your golden eggs. Fuck this egg. Fuck that egg. I don't give a fuck about that egg. Fuck that egg.
So good. It was set up so good with Force Awakens that it should have really wrote itself.
Yeah.
I don't see how there should have been any reason to go off like this just because you could. I mean, just because you can jump off a bridge doesn't mean that you really should. I mean, I've been just kind of.
Rian Johnson had no fucks given on this, like no fucks given.
Oh.
Why did you? I don't. I'm so convinced. It's like. You wrote Looper.
Guess what?
Why did you like this?
The reason you're dead is because I could kill you.
I mean, was I high when I saw Looper? And maybe it's not a good movie. Maybe I need to go back and watch Looper again. Like now, I'm like questioning all my life choices right now. I'm like,
watch Looper again. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch. Like, was that not a good movie? Maybe my trust was misplaced.
Maybe the drugs he was using when he made Looper weren't available for Star Wars, and that's why. They were like interdimensional drugs. They were like the
portal closed. He couldn't get them anymore.
No, he was snorting kyber crystals, and they couldn't find. Any more kyber crystals for this to make this movie, and JJ was like, "Hey, just do what you do, man." Oh, okay.
Oh my fucking god!
Wow.
Well, good luck, JJ.
Oh yeah, not want to be JJ Abrams right now. I'm telling you that's a fucked up position to put somebody in, for real. That's like saying. He just fucked up Star Wars, and now it's your responsibility.
I mean, you didn't have that whole. I mean, like there was a lot of pressure for The Force Awakens, but at least you didn't have the kind of pressure that you got now. Like I feel.
You make Force Awakens, you're coming off of Return of the Jedi. You're not.
You're coming off of Revenge of the Sith. That was the last movie. Right, but I mean, right, as far as like narratively speaking, but as far as like a Star Wars fans, the last thing we saw was Revenge of the Sith. So there was some pressure, but not the kind of pressure he's got now.
Now he's going to because fans really don't like this movie, and if they do, they're like you, where they're like, well, yeah, this was good, but then this happened. And so I think he's got his hands full. He's almost
I hope they listen. And I really do. I hope that Disney listens to what, or Kathleen, whoever the fuck is in charge of this motherfucker. I hope that you hear us. I hope that you hear you know what? It doesn't even matter though. Like, hear the critiques. You can't fix this. You can't. You fucked it up. Like that's literally what's like breaking my heart right now, is because so many good beats. I still feel that way, that there were so many good moments that you could pull out of this, but
he's got a clean slate now. JJ,
yeah, he does. I mean, you might as well just make a whole new Star Wars movie. Fuck it.
Work with. So basically, anything he comes up with is going to be original, and so fans are going to have to be sympathetic to him for whatever he comes out with line, because
Yeah, there's nobody. There's nobody. I mean, we're done. The only we got Chewie, CP30, and R2D2. That's that. I mean, can I get a funeral for Admiral Akbar in this one? That would be cool. Can somebody acknowledge that he's fucking dead? Can we get some kind of, by the way? No, we don't get. I don't get any of that either.
What happened? And are they gonna get Lando for episode 9 because they don't have nobody else?
I'd say
maybe
no.
they can coax Wedge into coming back. Maybe, I don't know. But they've got nobody. They really.
You did this wrong. They just did this wrong.
Idea was to purge us of the old
and I'm not. And I'm okay with that. But not like this.
Like this, right?
Yeah, it's just not like it's.
It's not what they wanted to do. It's how they did it that fucked everything up for everybody.
Yes, like everybody was ready for a new Star Wars movie, but not like this. Like, wow.
You don't take.
Wow. Wow. What
with Carrie
fuck
Fisher
you.
dying in real life.
That's these. I mean, these are beloved characters. These are beloved characters, and you knew that you were on the right track with The Force Awakens. So, like, we were like nobody. I did not hear any critiques about Han Solo dying. Like you said, the critiques were, it's kind of like A New Hope, and we think Rey's a little OP. Or both kind of valid, okay? I get over it, but kind of valid, all right? Like, so nobody was mad about old characters dying. Nobody's mad about passing the torch. People didn't want Empire Strikes Back. We wanted something different. Not like that. Like, why? Fuck.
Like, we definitely got something different. If there's anything that we could take away from this, it's that we got something different. And I just think that different isn't always better. It's like you kind of want your Star Wars movie to kind of follow a little bit of a formula now because you're.
I got beat by
Don't
Star
change
Wars
the Kool-Aid. Don't change the Kool-Aid too much because now it's not the purple stuff anymore. Now you added all that extra shit and it tastes funny. Don't taste right. I want my goddamn purple Kool-Aid. Crazy.
All right, we got to wrap this up. We've ranted for 2 hours and 15 minutes, which I think is about right. I am okay with that. I think we covered some really good points about Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Look, I'm going to put this up on my website. I'm pretty sure Zod's going to put it up on his. You are welcome to comment and disagree with us. That's fine. I'm not mad at you if you like this movie. I don't get it, but I'm not mad at you. Like, I think it had some moments where it could have been a great movie and it wasn't, and I'm sad. That's really, as a Star Wars fan, I am heartbroken about the treatment of Luke Skywalker. I really am. I feel like I should write a letter to Mark Hamill and be like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Doesn't it feel like Mark Hamill deserves gifts? Like
he deserves better. He just deserves better. I feel like this is like the only role this man has ever played. It's like this Mark Hamill is Luke Skywalker. Big role,
nature. He's Luke Skywalker.
Right, he's Luke Skywalker.
He needs to be this character, and you took that away from him because now you've robbed him of his chance of epicness. It's like, okay, great.
You did.
Now,
and for no reason. Like I don't see the reason for this. That's what's driving me crazy.
What does George Lucas think about this movie? That'll be interesting to hear too. I hope he hates it. He probably does.
He probably does. He probably as fucking like as much as a control freak as George Lucas does, he hates this movie. I guarantee you he hates this movie.
I bet you if he was sitting there watching it, he probably shit his pants at least twice.
Yeah. I bet you he's mad.
Happened?
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
right.
Yeah.
That's how we feel about it, guys.
That's Star Wars Episode 8. Wonderful.
So, at a scale of 1 to 5, I give it a 2.
I'm there with you. Around a 2. I don't think I'll ever watch it again. Seriously.
I will. I think I'm going to. I feel like as much as I'm hating on it, because of how long it was, I feel like for me, I want to give it another watch and see if I still feel the same, like if I'm overreacting as a Star Wars fan,
I'm just
because it's
afraid that I'll
possible.
hate it even worse. I am
I
afraid that
I
if
I
I
am
watch it
also
a
afraid
second
of
time,
this,
that
but
I'll be even more mad.
I feel, I am so sad about this movie right now, Zod, that I'm almost like ready for the emotional abuse. I'm kind of like I'm like the abused wife right now. I literally am. Like I'm ready to get hit again just
It's
to
going
see if I'm really in an abusive relationship. I want to make sure that this
bad
is what's really going on. So I'm going to
beating.
go and I'm going to face my fear and I'm probably going to see it in the movie theater one more time and see how I feel about it. See if I still like think that this is some bullshit and somebody needs to punch Ryan Johnson in the throat. I wanna I wanna see if I really still feel this way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Well, thank you, Zod, for getting on here and talking about this with me. I miss chatting with you, and I hope things are going well.
I feel the same way, Crystal. Just to better myself. Oh
Oh,
God.
yeah. All right, guys. Shout out to the Zod Writer Show. You can catch him on PSN. My show will be back in January. You guys know where to find us. We love you. Hang in there, Star Wars fans.
Uh,
Hang in there, guys.
it's so sad.
It's so sad. Oh my god.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
Wow.